This page is the cover of SEGA Saturn Magazine, issue 1998, volume 8, dated 3/20, priced at 380 yen. The cover prominently features 3 female characters from the game Eve, the Lost One. The main headlines highlight Eve, the Lost One, probing into the mystery of the 4th CDs. Also featured are the latest updates on Super Robot Wars F, described as the Completion Edition. Other mentions include Neon Genesis, Evangelion, Girlfriend of Steel, and a special feature section covering games like Wars, Mobile Suit Gundam, Giran's Ambition, Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon, Dragon Force 2, and Shining Force 2 I Scenario 2. The cover also mentions a reader survey, with results for the SEGA Saturn Magazine Grand Prix 97, and a SEGA Saturn Complete Guide, featuring Burning Rangers, Kyo Flying Squadron 2, and how to create your own professional baseball team. A small photo of a man is included next to text about the reader survey results. This page features Sagata Sanshiro, Sega's iconic martial arts character from the Japanese Sega Saturn commercials, holding a large banner. The banner proclaims, "It's the spring of games! Sega Saturn Shiro!" and his name. Sagata Sanshiro is prominently displayed against a backdrop of blooming cherry blossoms, suggesting a fresh season for gaming. The page also serves as an advertisement for the Tokyo Game Show 98 Spring, detailing the event's dates, location at Makuhari Messe, hours of operation, and ticket pricing. A key message directs visitors to experience the game show and highlights that Sega's booth is located at B1. The overall presentation is a vibrant promotion connecting the Sega Saturn console, its popular mascot, and a major upcoming industry event. This page continues the energetic theme from the previous page, declaring a spring of brilliant masterpieces for the Sega Saturn lineup. It highlights several major upcoming titles. Featured prominently is Sakura Wars 2, Thou Shalt Not Die, the highly anticipated sequel that picks up the story of the Imperial Combat Review and introduces new threats, promising intense tactical battles and dramatic character interactions. Set for release in April. March sees the release of several diverse games. The House of the Dead brings arcade horror gun shooting to the console, challenging players to survive a mansion filled with the undead. Neon Genesis Evangelion, Girlfriend of Steel, offers a visual novel experience, expanding on the anime's universe with a new side story, focusing on Mana Kirishima and featuring the main cast. Also arriving are strategy and sports titles. Dragon Force 2 builds upon its predecessor's strategic conquest gameplay with enhanced battles and event scenes. Sports fans can look forward to Pro Baseball Greatest 998, featuring updated data and a unique role-playing mode, and Sega Worldwide Soccer 98, boasting a large roster of international and domestic teams and realistic football action. The page also includes a brief mention of the Sagata Sanshiro theme song COD release and details on how to join Sega partners or attend the monthly Sega Saturn Festa at Tokyo Joyopolis, reinforcing the strong Sega Saturn community and mascot presence. This page serves as the table of contents, prominently displaying the magazine's title and issue date. The main feature highlighted is the second part of the highly anticipated SEGA Saturn Magazine Grand Prix 1997 results, where readers' votes determine the top Saturn games of the year. A substantial section provides a special report packed with the latest information on hot topic games. This includes titles like Super Robot Wars Final Chapter, the intriguing visual novel Even the Lost One, the anime adaptation Neon Genesis Evangelion, Girlfriend of Steel, the fantasy world of Wordsworth, the strategic Mobile Suit Gundam, Giran's Ambition, the fun puzzle RPG Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon, the strategic sequel Dragon Force 2, Shining Force 2 I Scenario 2, Child of Destiny continuing the epic story, the popular dating simulation Welcome to Pia Carrot, the historical simulation Nobunaga's Ambition. Other features include a unique segment where Ryo Fukawa seemingly interacts with the editorial department, the launch of a fan page and research section specifically for Super Robot Wars Fion, and a special interview where the Sega development team discusses the baseball simulation game Pro Yakyutsuku with baseball personality Pankyo Ito. The next page provides the detailed table of contents and the game index for this issue. On the left, key features are highlighted by page number, including a look at new Saturn releases like Densha de Go and Find Love 2, the simulation game, a preview of upcoming titles such as Suikoden and Winning Post 3, and a substantial complete guide section kicking off with strategies for Burning Rangers and Panzer Dragoon Saga. Special features delve into the appeal of Grandia, a report from the Arcade AOU show, and a spotlight on Sega's influential AM development division. The right side presents the comprehensive game index, listing reviewed or featured games alphabetically. You can quickly find pages for major titles like Mobile Suit Gundam, Giran's Ambition, Shining Force 2 I, Scenario 2 and potentially Scenario 3, The House of the Dead, and Cyber Troopers Virtual On. The index covers a wide range of genres, reflecting the Saturn's diverse library. The bottom features an illustration related to Even the Lost One, a visual novel also listed in the index. This page reports on the musical adaptation of Sakura Wars, showcasing the cast assembling for rehearsals ahead of their April 4th performance. The creator, Hiroi Uji, is featured, expressing his long-held dream of bringing the world of Sakura Wars to the stage, realized through collaboration. The report coincides with the release of the highly anticipated Sakura Wars 2. Included are interviews with two key actresses. Chisa Yokoyama, who voices and plays Sakura Shinguji, discusses the challenge of portraying Sakura's layered personality, balancing her reliance on the flower division with her inherent imperfections. She aims to capture Sakura's distinctive blend of awkwardness and everyday girl charm. Sachiko Chiba, portraying Haruka Nomura, shares her excitement about her first leading role and the novelty of learning tap dance for the part. She describes Haruka as a character who can be troublesome but is also serious and a leader. The musical's schedule and ticket information for performances in Tokyo and Osaka are also provided. This page features several exciting events and game announcements. Headlining is the realization of a major network battle event for Virtua Fighter 2, pitting players from Tokyo Joyopolis against those at the Tokyo Game Show. This competitive showcase leverages a dedicated network system for high-speed play and culminates in a grand final at the Tokyo Game Show, as detailed in the accompanying section on how to become a Virtua Fighter through qualification rounds. A screenshot shows the intense action of the game. Another highlighted event is the House of the Dead Day in March, celebrating the upcoming release of the zombie shooter with tournaments and a chance to try the game. Images display the game's terrifying creatures and atmosphere. New Sega PC titles are also announced, including The House of the Dead, Advanced Wars 98 Storm over Europe, Incubation, and Galapagos. In celebration of the 10th anniversary of the Detective Saburo Jinguji series, a campaign is underway, offering a chance to win a Mini Cooper, the protagonist's iconic car, through a quiz. Finally, the release of the first limited edition of Mobile Suit Gundam, Giran's Ambition, is confirmed, featuring special bonuses like an art book and unique manual, illustrated with striking character art. A campaign tied to the artist Amber and Maruishi bicycles also offers prizes via a quiz. This page covers a few different topics, starting with an event called Secret Word, Spring, Old Man Wind. Gather at Wonder Egg on March 14th. This event celebrates the release of Don Macao's solo album, Severe Law, and features various artists performing. Entry is free, but you need to know the secret word to get in. There's also a feature on Landmark, highlighting the release of Keychain 3D puzzles based on famous designs by Professor Meffert. They are pocket-sized and come in three types: ball puzzle, cube, and pyramid puzzle. These are being given away as a present, 2 of each kind, to 6 winners. Under the goods section, there's a promotion for Techno AO, an item designed to protect you from electromagnetic waves emitted by computers and TVs. It's described as looking like a stick, but claims to create a comfortable environment. The soft section focuses on music, specifically a new jazz CD related to Evangelion, featuring pianist Kuria Makoto and other Japanese and American pianists. It's called Mad Kitchen Tokyo Twilight Zone and aims to help fans get closer to the world of EVA through music. Finally, the page showcases several new music releases from artists like Brand New Love D&D, Yoshizawa Ri, Moritaka Chisato, Okamoto Mayo, The Yellow Monkey, their 7th album, Punch Drunkard, Minami Omi, a voice actress known from Martian's successor Nadesico, Eppo, Soul Kitchen, and Burst Fruits. Each release includes a brief description of the music style and highlights. This page features singer Uga Yaya, discussing her love for games and how they help her refresh. Despite her image as a singer, she reveals a long history with gaming, starting from classic titles like Super Mario, Dragon Quest, and Final Fantasy. On the Sega Saturn, she mentions enjoying Kakyusei, noting she's quite fond of gal games. She finds games a great way to de-stress, sometimes even reading game magazines like this one for information. She humorously recounts friends telling her to hide her game magazine habit. Her fondness for Saturn might stem from the console's frequent use of anime characters. Beyond gaming, her curious nature leads her to enjoy sports and movies, always seeking new interests. She aims to balance her work with gaming as a cherished hobby. The page also includes a brief profile, detailing her real name, birth date, debut via the TBC Superlady contest in 1996, and her latest single, Orange, which she describes as capturing the feeling of happy moments during Twilight. This feature is part of the Today's Target of Saturn Users series, Volume 12. This page presents the weekly software sales ranking for the SEGA Saturn, the Shop Data Top 15. The overview notes a trend leaning towards games popular with a core user base, rather than more casual titles. It highlights the strong start of Pro Yaku Team wo Tsukuru, suggesting it's on track to quickly sell through its initial shipment and questioning its potential for further growth. The ranking itself is led by the new release Pro Yaku Team wo Tsukuru at number 1, showing significant first-week sales. Last week's top title, Winter Heat, holds strong at number 2. Another new release, Virtua Cop Special Pack, debuts at number 3. Further down the list, established hits like SD Gundam G Century, Sakura Taisen, Panzer Dragoon Saga, Grandia, and fighters like X-Men vs. Street Fighter maintain their presence, demonstrating their continued appeal and solidifying their places among the Saturn's enduring popular titles. Visual novels such as Sentimental Graffiti, Machi, Desire, and Yuno also feature, indicating a strong market for that genre on the platform. The page is laid out clearly, showing each game's rank, title, estimated weekly and total sales, and a small screenshot along with a brief descriptive blurb. This page dives into user feedback and arcade popularity rankings. First up is the SEGA Saturn Want to Convert User Data Top 20, a poll showing which games users most want to see ported to the Saturn. The list highlights a strong desire for console RPGs like the Final Fantasy series, which claimed the top spot, and fighting games like The Last Blade. Commentary suggests that following recent arcade shows, many promising titles that could make their way to the Saturn are on the horizon. 2 specific games are highlighted for their porting potential: the shooter Radiant Silvergun and the quirky versus title Taito vs. The page then shifts focus to the arcade scene with the Show Up! Arcade Video Games Shop Data Top 15, presenting the most popular games in arcades according to Shop Data. Virtua Fighter 3, TB, holds the number 1 spot, followed by Tekken 3. Marvel vs. Capcom is specifically spotlighted as the one-point check game, coming in at number 5 on the arcade chart, and noted for its exciting tag battles featuring Capcom heroes. Finally, 2 other notable arcade titles are featured: the cycling game Downhill Biker and the run-and-gun action of Metal Slug 2. This page presents the User Data Top 30, a ranking of the most anticipated new software for the SEGA Saturn based on user feedback. The excitement is palpable for the upcoming lineup. Leading the pack at number 1 is Sakura Wars 2, Thou Shalt Not Die, scoring a massive 489 points, though its development progress is still a question mark, suggesting more news is eagerly awaited. Coming in second is Neon Genesis Evangelion, Girlfriend of Steel, with 406 points, notably listed as 100% complete. Fans were clearly ready for this one. Rounding out the top 3 is Super Robot Wars F Final Chapter, showing strong progress at 95% complete, and garnering 336 points, promising more giant robot action is just around the corner. The rest of the top 30 is packed with diverse and highly anticipated titles, featuring big names from fighting games like Vampire Savior and Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, epic RPGs, and adventures such as Dragon Force 2 and Shining Force 2i, and unique experiences like Densha de Go and Castlevania Symphony of the Night. The page also highlights additional upcoming titles like Dungeon Master Nexus and the intriguing Denpa Shonenteki game, reinforcing that this spring is shaping up to be a hot season for the Saturn, with plenty to look forward to. This page dives into the 90th edition of the Reader Participation Project, the All Soft Readers Check, where readers rate all released SEGA Saturn software. It's a dynamic ranking driven by player votes, and things are shaking up this week. The big news is that Chaos Seed Feng Shui Chronicle has surged into the top spot, overtaking last week's leader. This poll now tracks a staggering 923 released Saturn titles, showing just how deep the library is getting. Looking at the top ranks, Chaos Seed is number 1, followed closely by the epic RPG Grandia at number 2, and the classic adventure game Yuno often known as Kono yo no Hate de Koi wo Utau Shoujo Yuno, is holding strong at number 3. Rounding out the top 5 are Azazel Panzer Dragoon RPG and Devil Summoners. Soul Hackers. Another game making a significant move is Winter Heat, or Decathlete in some regions, jumping up several spots. The text speculates this rise might be influenced by the ongoing Nagano Olympics, making the winter sports game particularly relevant. The page features screenshots of both the new number 1 Chaos Seed and the rapidly rising Winter Heat. SEGA Saturn Reader Participation Project Volume 90 highlights new game recommendations. Crimson Clover. World Ignition, a shooting game bundled with Battle Garega's Trial, is a must-buy. Uncharted Waters Gaiden is praised as the definitive entry, despite dated graphics. SD Gundam G Generation S, an enjoyable Gundam game with satisfying battles, also earns a recommendation. Maria, You Were Born? Quote, a suspense adventure, is praised for its dramatic feel and good polygon graphics. Storm of the Meiji Restoration offers engaging simulation gameplay and fast loading. 2 games to watch are Ninjamaru Gikiju, potentially flawed but with good character design, and Space Jam, featuring simple multiplayer basketball but lacking depth. This page presents the SEGA Saturn Reader Race Volume 90, specifically focusing on the odds chart Saturn C. This is a ranking of SEGA Saturn games based on reader input, covering a vast number of titles from popular hits to more niche releases. The chart displays each game's current rank, previous rank, title, genre, and average reader score. It's a comprehensive look at how the Saturn library was perceived by its players at the time, offering a snapshot of game popularity and critical reception from the community. A small section highlights games experiencing significant drops in the rankings. Notably, Vandal Hearts is mentioned as dropping significantly to rank 438, while Jungle Park Saturn Island also fell considerably to rank 528. There are small screenshots accompanying this text, showing a tactical battle scene likely from Vandal Hearts, and an overhead view of a park/track area, presumably from Jungle Park. The article suggests that these lower-ranked class games require caution when purchasing, advising readers to check the rankings carefully. Finally, there's a teaser for the next issue, mentioning a special poster and coverage of the Tokimeki Memorial Drama Series Volume 2, Rainbow Song. This article highlights the SEGA Saturn's odds chart Saturn D rankings, with a spotlight on the vertical shooter, Dodonpachi. The piece introduces the game, developed by Atlas, and includes a photo and caption from the author, Umanami. It compares reader scores to magazine scores, noting Dodonpachi's positive reception. Umanami details their experience with the game, emphasizing the challenging bullet patterns, high difficulty, and the thrill of dodging. The Saturn version's manageable hitbox is also mentioned. The article highlights Saturn-exclusive features, including original stages, and options like unlimited continues. Reader comments praise the game's smooth gameplay and unique world, though a vertical monitor is recommended. Finally, a separate column features content related to a character named Death Sama, and includes screenshots, possibly related to the game DEFCON 5. The next page features a variety of content centered around reader interaction and game reviews. It kicks off with information on upcoming game releases for March and April, highlighting them as key decision points for Saturn owners. The core of the page includes reviews for 3 games based on reader feedback. Let's Make a Professional Baseball Team receives a high score and is praised for its fun management elements and character reactions, although some dislike the slow pace and camera cuts. Uno DX gets a low score, with readers finding the story and scenarios poor, despite enjoyable characters and the core Uno gameplay. Gunblaze S, an RPG, receives a mixed score. It's noted for charming characters and visuals but is criticized for a dated structure and lack of new elements, ultimately being seen as a typical Bishoujo game that falls short. Other sections encourage reader participation through prediction games for upcoming software releases, ranking positions, and average scores, offering SEGA Saturn peripheral sets and games as prizes. There's also a spotlight on reader comments covering various topics, and a general segment noting that spring is the season for sports games on the Saturn. A list of SEGA Saturn peripherals is also displayed, ranked by average reader score. This page is a special report focused on the highly anticipated Super Robot Wars final chapter. It announces the final battle is about to begin for what is being touted as the biggest Super Robot game yet. A completion rate of 95% is highlighted, indicating the game is nearing its release. The report reveals details about the early stages of the final chapter's story, promising unpredictable developments and dense content. Screenshots feature dynamic battle animations with iconic mechs from various anime series, including Neon Genesis Evangelion, Mazinger Z, Gao and Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. The page expresses immense praise, declaring the game to be truly the masterpiece of the series. It confirms the game is a simulation RPG developed by Banpresto, scheduled for an April 23 release at 6,800 yen, recommended for all ages, and is a single-player experience. A diagram shows how the story connects and branches from the previous game, Super Robot Wars F.
The overall sentiment conveys strong excitement and high expectations for the game.
The next page dives deeper into the changes and features of Super Robot Wars F Final Chapter, presenting 5 checkpoints, highlighting key differences from the previous Super Robot Wars. Check 1 covers interface improvements, such as the cursor automatically moving to the counterattack selection after a unit is attacked, and clearer dialogue highlighting during conversation scenes. Check 2 reveals that characters now provide voice lines when using map weapons, adding more audio flair to combat.
Check 3 details updates to character face graphics.
Notable changes are shown for Judao Ashita from Mobile Suit Gundam ZZ, Ryuma Nagare from Getter Robo, and a significant overhaul for Koji Kabuto from Mazinger Z.
Comparison images showcase these updated portraits.
Check 4 explains the starting process for players who begin directly with Final Chapter. Similar to F, you create a protagonist and receive starting funds and upgrade parts, allowing for unit customization right away. Finally, Check 5 revisits the previously announced 10-step unit upgrade system, clarifying that while units were limited to 5 steps initially in F, the full 10 steps become available later in Final Chapter, promising even greater power-ups. Screenshots demonstrate the customization and upgrade interfaces. This page delves into specific scenarios from Super Robot Wars Final Chapter, detailing Episode 34 for both the Real Robot and Super Robot paths. Real Robot players face Thin Veil of Malice, while Super Robot players encounter the Crisis at Frontier 4, both concerning the DC's activities. The story sees the Londo Bell team intercepting a distress signal from Frontier 4, where DC forces are attacking Yugo collaborators. The focus then shifts to the colony defense, where Seabook Arno piloting the Gundam F-91 and Cecily Fairchild in the Vinyagina are fighting valiantly but seemingly overwhelmed, highlighted by a screenshot caption saying, "Overwhelming Force." The page introduces these key characters and their iconic mobile suits, from Mobile Suit Gundam F-91, as newly appearing units you'll encounter. It also highlights main enemy characters for this arc, including Sima Garahao from Mobile Suit Gundam 0083 with her Jabera Tetra, and Arias Momo with the Bao. This particular scenario is presented as a 2-part mission from the outset, and the page stresses the importance of careful unit selection, as the deployment units and pilot morale carry over to the second part, making initial choices critical for success against tough odds. The epilogue section indicates the story will continue inside the colony. Episode 35 of Super Robot Wars F Final Chapter plunges players into intense battles. Real Robot players conclude Thin Veil of Malice, while Super Robot players finish Crisis at Frontier 4. The Londo Bell team battles DC forces, including Lakan Dakaran in a Drazen, but faces a greater threat with the arrival of the Black Tri-Stars. A pivotal moment arrives, with the appearance of the Gundam Wing pilots and a nuclear threat from Lady Yun. Hiroyuki self-destructs his Wing Gundam to prevent the colony's destruction.
The episode concludes with Londo Bell defeating the DC forces.
The focus now shifts to the asteroid base axis. Key enemies include Lakan Dakaran and the Black Tri-Stars. The next episode promises a powerful new enemy. This page features a substantial 16-page special report on the upcoming multi-site adventure game, Lost One, Naoki Serizawa's Box, set for release on the SEGA Saturn on March 12th for 7,800 yen. This feature article is being released just before the game hits stores, promising to ease the anticipation that has built up since its announcement roughly 4 months prior. The report delves into the game's early stages, covering the important events from the first 2 days of gameplay, and providing explanations for technical terms specific to the Lost One world. Furthermore, it offers a sneak peek into the contents of the game's 4th Creedrom, which is likely an extra or bonus disc. The article aims to give players just enough preparatory knowledge without spoiling the core gameplay experience, allowing everyone to jump in fully informed. The bottom of the page showcases character art and screenshots in the game's distinct anime style, giving a visual taste of the adventure that awaits. This page continues the extensive feature on Eve, the Lost One. Prominently displayed is the game's title, emphasizing the Lost One subtitle. Below the main title, the Japanese text translates to something like, completely covering the mysteries, indicating the depth of the report. The page features a large, striking portrait of a key female character from the game, depicted with intense eyes and flowing reddish-brown hair, capturing the dramatic tone of the adventure game. At the bottom of the page are smaller panels showcasing various scenes, including a character seemingly distressed on a bed, another character talking on a mobile phone, and a bright, almost ethereal light effect, giving players a visual taste of the diverse locations and moments they will encounter in Eve, the Lost One. This page serves to visually entice readers, while signaling that the feature provides a thorough look into the game's world and narrative. The next page dives into the beginning of the incident in Eve, the Lost One, focusing on the character Kyoko Kirino. It lays out a timeline starting on June 2nd, detailing her recovery from the bombing at World Import Tower. After waking up at home following a break from her training, Kyoko is involved in an incident and is shown being transported by ambulance. Despite her injury, she is called to the Cabinet Investigation Office headquarters on June 3rd. There, she is assigned the crucial Seto murder case by the chief, highlighting the busy nature of the office and Kyoko's determination. The page then follows her initial investigation efforts, particularly her visits to the mysterious Mochizuki Biological Research Institute, a key location connected to the developing case. Screenshots and dialogue snippets throughout the page illustrate Kyoko's perspective and the unfolding events, revealing details like the Cabinet Investigation Office being a public organization in this game. This page continues the timeline for Kyoko Kirino in Eve, the Lost One, detailing her initial steps in the Seto murder case. It opens by describing her final day of training break, going shopping at the World Import Tower, only to be caught in a sudden explosion. This leads to her injury and loss of consciousness. Despite her inexperience, Kyoko is immediately assigned to the crucial case by her chief. The page highlights her somewhat clumsy nature as an investigator, noting her hurried departure from headquarters and her unconventional approach, such as not initially searching the primary crime scene or the victim's home. Following her initial steps, Kyoko heads to Genesis SeaWorld, the location where the victim, Seto, worked. This section introduces other key characters, like the mysterious Ayano, whose dialogue hints at a connection to marine life. It emphasizes the intriguing nature of the characters she encounters. The page also touches upon Kyoko needing assistance from Yuji during her investigation, implying they work together or he provides crucial help. Finally, a map is presented, showing various locations relevant to Kyoko's investigation, including the World Import Tower, Genesis SeaWorld, and other key points of interest she can travel to as the story unfolds. This section solidifies the setting and the accessible areas within the game world. This page continues the timeline for Kyoko Kirino's investigation in Eve, the Lost One. Following up on her early steps, Kyoko returns to headquarters but meets Mikage, deciding to accompany him to Altair Corporation to investigate the building explosion due to her personal involvement. Later, she spots Marina Kagawa sitting alone on a park bench and approaches her. Kyoko also revisits the World Import Tower, where the bombing occurred, gathering unexpected information about the victim Seto from office workers in the cafeteria. During her time at the tower, she reunites with Yuji Kagawa, and they decide to eat at a nearby soba shop, discovering that the owner is Yuji's mother. The game also features dynamic scenery that changes with the time of day, including the map used for movement, adding to the atmosphere. This page continues Kyoko Kirino's investigation in Eve, the Lost One. Kyoko heads to the Altair Corporation president's office, meeting characters like Rina and President Kudo, as the bombing and murder incidents become linked. She also visits the exhibition hall, encountering Sumi Natsumi. Finally, she returns home, reflecting on the packed events of June 3rd. A key gameplay feature highlighted is the multi-site scenario change, allowing players to freely switch between Kyoko's and Snake's perspectives. The guide strongly advises saving your game before switching scenarios, illustrating the process using the save and load menus to prevent losing progress. The timeline is shown advancing towards June 4th, indicating the story continues the next day. The narrative follows Snake's perspective in Eve, the Lost One, after a bombing. He begins with an anxious jog through the city to the World Import Tower. His appearance possibly suspect. Next, he finds solace at Café Pose, a coffee shop, and encounters two foreigners, Monica and Mena. Their conversation, in fluent Japanese, offers him comfort. Back at home, the scene becomes surreal. Monica appears, seemingly without explanation, and the guide questions the reality of the situation. Screenshots confirm Monica's presence and Snake's recognition. They then meet at the coffee shop again and embrace, suggesting a complex relationship development. The day's events end, leaving the reader to question the true nature of Snake's experiences, potentially blurring the lines between reality, dreams, and a manufactured reality. The investigation in Eve, The Lost One, intensifies, focusing on Snake's actions and encounters. He plants a bomb at the World Import Tower with unknown motives, using a clearly amateur device. His computer is then hacked by Adonis, a skilled programmer whose identity remains a mystery. Adonis remotely controls elements on Snake's screen and arranges a future meeting, adding intrigue. Snake later meets Keiko Katsuragi, the president of Altair Corporation, and the game hints at her connection to Albadia, though she's not immediately considered a prime suspect. The narrative continues to blur reality, with dream sequences involving Monica. The page also highlights in-game mechanics, showing how dialogue can be reviewed or skipped, and features a conversation snippet between Snake and Mena. The next page continues the story of Eve, The Lost One, detailing events on June 3rd. Adonis, the mysterious hacker, escalates his manipulation, instructing Snake to find a small brown bottle, and seemingly confident in his ability to control Snake. His unsettling teddy bear avatar appears again, threatening Snake. Snake, having learned Natsumi Suzuda is connected to Setalino, heads to the exhibition hall to investigate her regarding the bottle's secret. He finds Kyoko also interacting with Natsumi, feeling she is one step ahead. Snake begins monitoring Natsumi using a computer. Later, Snake confronts Natsumi directly at a park at dawn, pulling her aside to question her about the truth. Returning home, Snake discovers Adonis was waiting for him, and is aware of his movements, including visiting Natsumi, reinforcing the feeling that he is being watched and controlled. Adonis promises to decide their next meeting place tomorrow, hinting at a potential release for Snake. Finally, Snake decides to infiltrate Kyoko's home while she is asleep. He sees this as a necessary step, planning to plant something as a form of insurance against Adonis, and in preparation for their confrontation. The next page delves further into the mysteries of Eve, The Lost One, detailing Snake's actions on June 3rd, following the events discussed previously. Snake employs his hacking skills, utilizing information from Setatono's photo provided by Adonis, to pursue leads. This leads him closer to the elusive brown bottle Adonis is seeking. Despite the uncertain reasons behind his quest, Snake successfully obtains the object everyone is after, even breaking into Natsumi Suzuda's home, where she expresses distress. However, Snake's true focus appears to be connected to a world without viruses, or perhaps the moment before the bombing incident. A new keyword emerges: Elphidia, who is somehow linked to the bottle's secret. Seeking answers, Snake consults Mena at Café Pose, a trusted confidant, and learns about Elphidia's dark past. As June 3rd concludes, Snake finds himself increasingly at the mercy of fate, seemingly heading down a difficult path. The page also highlights a playful detail for keen-eyed players. The game includes hidden characters in the backgrounds, possibly cameos or parodies of figures from other series, including Suzuna, and a possible reference to Joe, adding a layer of fun for dedicated fans. Featured on the page are screenshots capturing moments from Snake's investigation, including a computer screen during hacking, Natsumi in her room, a mysterious location, Elgudia looking troubled, Mena at the cafe, and Snake observing figures exchanging something. A prominent illustration of Elgudia in athletic wear graces the page. These scenes mark the transition towards the events of June 4th. This page provides a technical breakdown of key concepts featured in Eve, The Lost One. It explains the Security Systems Skeleton Recognition Database, a system used by a security company that Snake utilizes in the game. This database employs advanced surveillance cameras that capture 2D video, audio, and 3D scans simultaneously. Instead of relying on often unreliable facial features, it identifies individuals based on their skeletal structure,
which remains relatively consistent over time. Snake leverages this sophisticated database for identifying people during his investigation. The page also delves into the game's depiction of computer hacking, focusing on a technique inspired by the real-world Van Eck phreaking. This method involves capturing and analyzing electromagnetic waves emitted by computers, allowing for remote hacking without physical access. The text explains how high-frequency waves can carry energy, citing examples like microwave ovens, and even suggesting they could theoretically power devices like an electric stove remotely. This provides the theoretical basis for Snake's ability to remotely manipulate computer power in the game, linking back to his hacking activities discussed on the previous page. A small hint box on the page notes that this hacking mechanism, made by humans, most resembles the function of a fax machine, adding a touch of in-game lore or a puzzle hint. A screenshot illustrates the skeletal recognition database interface. Eve. The Lost One utilizes unique mechanics centered on dolphin echolocation and a fictional vaccine, dolphins' click-based echolocation, allowing them to see through sound, is linked to identifying individuals in the game. The text suggests their communication could function like a fax, converting images into audio for transmission, explaining how images appear. The game also features an immune enhancement vaccine based on real-world gene therapy. Introduces genetic material to boost healing and immune responses by crystallizing pathogens, preventing their replication. While a virus, it cannot replicate itself after absorbing a pathogen. The page includes in-game character dialogue and interface visuals, providing context for the technical explanations. This page unveils the fourth disc for Eve, The Lost One, the Extra Disc. It's a reward for players who completed the main game across the first 3 discs. This bonus disc offers several features, including a bonus theater, where characters like Kyoko and Ayano engage in humorous skits, providing a lighthearted contrast to the game's serious plot. There are 4 different types of these short comedy routines. The disc also includes interviews with 23 voice actors, featuring discussions about the game, favorite lines, and personal anecdotes, with pictures of some key cast members like Junko Iwao, Marina, Takehito Koyasu, Kojiro, Yuka Imai, Yayoi, and Rin Mizuhara, Grandma. Other sections available are Sign and Comment, Music Appreciation, and Setting Materials, offering fans deeper insight and enjoyment after finishing the main story. This page continues the look at the extra disc for Eve, The Lost One, focusing on the bonus content available after completing the main game. The Sign and Comment section presents signed boards from various voice actors involved in the game, each including a brief comment. While these are just images without audio, they offer a personal touch from the cast. Moving on to the Music Appreciation section, players can access and listen to all 23 background music tracks from the game, ranging from atmospheric to techno, allowing fans to enjoy their favorite pieces anytime. Finally, the Setting Materials section offers a deep dive into the game's development, with collections of original character drawings, event storyboards, and anime storyboards. Preview images show character designs with detailed variations in facial expressions and full-body views, including rear poses, giving insight into the creation of the game's visuals. This bonus disc truly provides fans with a wealth of material to appreciate the game further. This page continues the exploration of the bonus extra disc for Eve, The Lost One, focusing on the in-depth development materials available. It highlights the Rejected Original Drawings collection, showcasing graphics that didn't make it into the final game, including character designs and discarded costume concepts, offering a glimpse into the development process and alternative ideas. Next is the Event Storyboard collection, which provides storyboards for the game's narrative event scenes. These differ from typical gameplay visuals, emphasizing composition and sometimes character movement that goes beyond standard standing poses. The collection is conveniently divided into storyboards for the Kyoko and Snake arcs. Finally, the Anime Storyboard collection presents the storyboards used for the game's animated cutscenes. These focus heavily on illustrating movement and are generally presented as rougher sketches compared to the event storyboards. Interestingly, notes included on these storyboards not only detail animation techniques, but also sometimes contain informal comments or rumors, adding a personal touch. The collection features 13 key storyboards, split for easy viewing. This page dives deeper into the bonus content from the Eve, The Lost One Extra Disc, presenting fascinating setting materials for the small items carried by key characters. It features detailed design documents for the gear belonging to both Snake and Edge Yuji. Snake's section highlights his signature firearm, a finely detailed Colt M1911 style pistol, complete with annotations on design choices and specific parts like the safety lever and slide stop. The commentary suggests the artist's enjoyment in rendering the weapon, noting that such detailed settings enhance the game's movie scenes. For Edge Yuji, the focus is on his essential gear, his backpack, and a comprehensive toolkit. The backpack setting confirms he carries an Apple PowerBook 1400 laptop, specifying his preference for the Mac platform. The accompanying toolkit design shows a variety of tools like screwdrivers, pliers, and nippers, hinting at his skills or role in the narrative. The text points out that despite these intricate designs, the items may only be visible for short moments during gameplay, encouraging players to look for them. This page delves into the world of Neon Genesis Evangelion, Girlfriend of Steel for the SEGA Saturn. It previews the adventure game, highlighting the unique story path centered around the mysterious transfer student, Mana Kirishima. The article describes the appearance of a puzzling mobile object in Tokyo 3, which is revealed to be a new type of humanoid weapon. This event is tied to the arrival of Mana Kirishima, a new student who quickly becomes a point of interest. Asuka Langley Soryu, ever observant, suspects Mana might be a spy and a threat to NERV and the EVA program, adding tension to the narrative. The page features the game's Japanese title, quote, along with a prominent quote attributed to Mana, asking Shinji if he will believe in her. Screenshots depict key moments, including Asuka's reaction, a scene in a hospital room possibly related to the mysterious object or Mana, and images of Shinji and Mana together. The game was a significant release for Saturn fans of the series, expanding on the original anime's universe with an alternative storyline. Release details confirm it's a SEGA Saturn title, scheduled for release on March 26, packaged on 2 discs. The preview of Neon Genesis Evangelion, Girlfriend of Steel, reveals a new male pilot, the same age as Shinji, found in a damaged humanoid weapon. The pilot is hospitalized at a strategic self-defense force hospital, not NERV, raising suspicions within NERV. Asuka and Shinji visit him, discovering Mana Kirishima with the pilot. Mana claims he's a former classmate, sparking Asuka's suspicion of her being a spy. Shinji is torn between his feelings for Mana and the possibility of her betrayal. Mana appears conflicted, muttering about guilt and asking Shinji to keep secrets. The narrative focuses on Shinji's internal struggle, whether to uncover the truth about Mana, even if it endangers NERV, or remain ignorant. Screenshots depict the injured pilot, Mana, Asuka, and NERV personnel. This page presents an exciting preview from ELF, announcing their latest release set for this autumn. The large, bold text proclaims, "This autumn, ELF unleashes their newest work. Its name is..." The page features a prominent illustration showcasing a diverse cast of characters, typical of fantasy RPGs from the era. The accompanying text reveals this new release as a port of the popular PC title, Wordsworth. The article confirms it is a polygon 3D dungeon RPG and emphasizes its historical importance for ELF, stating that the game's narrative and expressive techniques served as a foundation for later renowned titles like Dragon Knight IV and Dokusei 2. The author expresses anticipation for the game, highlighting the visuals and the significance of this title for fans of ELF's work. This page continues the preview of ELF's upcoming SEGA Saturn title, Wordsworth. The prominent illustration showcases the game's diverse cast of fantasy characters, reinforcing that this is an RPG. The text discusses the game, confirming it is a port of the popular PC version and a 3D polygon dungeon RPG. A key highlight is the character design, handled by Shrin Shin, known for their work on the Dokusei 2 OVA, which is presented as a major selling point. The game carries a recommendation for players aged 18 and up, as the interactions between characters are considered an essential part of the narrative. The development team aims to make the game accessible for newcomers to the genre, suggesting a focus on enjoyability over extreme difficulty. The article concludes by stating the game is planned for release in autumn, with the price yet to be determined. This page previews Mobile Suit Gundam, Giran's Ambition, a strategy simulation game for the SEGA Saturn from Bandai. The headline declares that the commander's decisions will greatly influence many fates, hinting at the game's core mechanic,
exploring what-if scenarios within the one-year war. The game puts the player in the role of a commander, making choices that can lead to outcomes never seen in the original anime or movies. Each playthrough allows players to forge a unique path through history, discovering different conclusions to the conflict. The article highlights intriguing possibilities, such as the white base team not existing, Char disappearing early on, or even the emergence of a third faction independent of the Earth Federation and Xeon. Screenshots illustrate the gameplay, showing strategic map views, ground combat between mobile suits, and a choice interface featuring characters like Char Zanable, emphasizing the decision-making element. One notable screenshot depicts Xeon's Zaku mobile suits fighting each other, a clear example of the alternate history the game presents. The game was released on April 9, 1998, is a single-player experience, and is recommended for all ages. It offers players the chance to witness the future course of history that no one has ever seen before, shaped by their own strategic command. This text summarizes the Earth Federation's campaign in Mobile Suit Gundam, Giren's Ambition, focusing on the white base team. It highlights their crucial role in the Federation's potential victory during the one-year war, emphasizing their involvement in Operation V, the development of mobile suits, and the Pegasus-class carriers. The article details key moments, including the encounter at Side 7 and the crucial decision regarding the white base's operational structure. It also covers the perilous rushing into the atmosphere phase, including the conflict with Garmazabi and the potential for alternate outcomes, such as the success or failure of Matilda Agen's resupply mission. Finally, the text discusses the game's mechanics for character death, where specific events can permanently remove characters from the roster, impacting the player's strategic options. This mechanic underscores the importance of player choices and battle outcomes in shaping the narrative. This page explores if scenarios within Mobile Suit Gundam, Giren's Ambition, focusing on the white base. Key events like the attack of the blue giant Rambaral and Operation Odessa are altered by player choices. Accepting Matilda's resupply against Rambaral can lead to heavy losses, or even total defeat for the white base. Not participating in Operation Odessa significantly changes the war's course. The Black Tri-Stars encounter also has branching outcomes, with Matilda's survival potentially saving the white base, but leading to Federation defeat if the white base avoids the battle. The game incorporates special missions, where characters like Char Zanable can be assigned, adding strategic depth. Ultimately, the game allows players to experience how the white base's actions significantly affect the one-year war's major events. This page shifts perspective to the Principality of Xeon's side in Mobile Suit Gundam, Giren's Ambition, detailing their strategy and key events during the one-year war's Earth invasion. It covers the initial assault targeting resource-rich Odessa, where Xeon's mobile suits proved overwhelmingly superior against the Federation's older weaponry. The page highlights the second Earth drop operation, focusing on capturing key Federation strongholds in North America, specifically New York and California, as a means to eventually cripple the massive Jaburo base. An interesting if scenario is presented. By capturing the California base, Xeon can acquire valuable Federation submarine technology. This strategic gain leads to Kycilia Zabi proposing the establishment of a Xeon submarine fleet, significantly increasing her influence within the Xeon hierarchy. The page features character portraits of prominent Xeon figures like Char Aznable and Kycilia Zabi, alongside screenshots depicting ground combat, aerial battles, and the strategic map interface used to manage operations. The content emphasizes how player choices can lead to unique outcomes and power shifts within the Xeon leadership. This page explores the early stages of Mobile Suit Gundam, Giren's Ambition from Xeon's perspective. The narrative centers on the attack on Side 7 and the pursuit of the Earth Federation's white base, carrying the prototype Gundam. Players, controlling Xeon, make strategic choices that influence the story. Refusing Char Zanable's resupply request could lead to Garma Zabi's survival, altering a key storyline event. As the white base reaches Earth, players decide whether to have Garma intercept it. After Garma's fate, Duzzle Zabi's and Kycilia Zabi's contrasting proposals for revenge impact character relationships and strategy. Giren Zabi uses propaganda to exploit Garma's death. Character portraits and gameplay screenshots illustrate the game's strategic depth and narrative branching paths. This page highlights the progression in Mobile Suit Gundam, Giren's Ambition. Focusing on events after Xeon's initial Earth invasion, it introduces the emergence of a third force within the game, specifically confirming the Titans, led by figures like Jamatov Hyman and Bascom,
who rise to purge the Federation and Spacenoids. The narrative moves towards the crucial attack on the Earth Federation's headquarters at Jaburo. The game presents strategic decisions, such as whether to approve Kycilia Zabi's proposal to establish the Mad Angler Special Submarine Team, formed using acquired naval technology. This choice significantly impacts the game's direction and influences the intricate relationships within the Zabi family, echoing the notorious internal conflict seen in the anime where members turn on each other. Refusing proposals from figures like Kycilia or Dazzle creates tension within the family, adding another layer of strategic depth and narrative branching to the Zeton campaign. Gameplay screenshots show strategic map views of attacks and character portraits during key decision points. This page dives into Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon, an RPG spin-off of the popular puzzle series. Titled Unknown Danger, this preview highlights elements players can expect, featuring a special report stating the game is 90% complete. The focus is on the Wonder Jungle, described as attraction number 5, and a high-level area players can only access later in the game. This dungeon is characterized by its lush, overgrown environment, complex layouts, and challenging encounters. Enemies here are mainly powerful creatures, like beasts and reptiles, that swarm the player, emphasizing the need for strong defense. Screenshots showcase the top-down dungeon exploration gameplay and character portraits during events. The page introduces some of the foes: a smelly zombie that blends into the ground, a beguiling Lamia described as a snake woman with frightening special abilities like charming others and HP draining, and Captain Scylla, the leader of the Scylla creatures known for their item-stealing skills. Basic game information confirms Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon is an RPG developed by Compile, releasing on April 2nd for 5,800 yen, supporting only one player, and recommended for all ages. The page gives a glimpse into the challenging later game content, suggesting that dungeon crawling will be a significant part of the experience. This page continues our look at Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon, turning our attention to attraction number 6, the Unsettling Horror House. Unlike the brute force required in the Wonder Jungle, this dungeon tests your skill and technique with bizarre special attacks, treacherous traps, and a host of undead enemies. As the name suggests, it's designed like a spooky Western haunted house, and be warned, dark magic is less effective here. You'll encounter foes like the straightforward attacking mummy, known for its powerful bandage moves. The ghost is a spectral monster that bypasses defense with its curse's whisper. And then there's Richpoor, an undead creature obsessed with gold who attacks while spouting gags. The dungeon is also littered with dangerous traps. The illusion grass can inflict various status ailments. Mold spoils your food supplies. Caltrops make movement difficult by injuring your feet. And the MP drain trap can significantly cut down your magic resources. A welcome feature highlighted here is the mid-game save. This allows you to save your progress after clearing each floor, which is a really user-friendly addition for a dungeon crawler like this, letting you pick up where you left off. You can see a screenshot of the character select screen mentioning this feature, even showing Puyo Puyo characters like Blue ready to dive in. The entrance is guarded by Black Kimura, apparently still under preparation because the monsters haven't arrived yet. Midway through Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon, players will acquire various offensive and defensive skills. The skill level system rewards repeated skill usage, increasing power and range, encouraging strategic gameplay. The page highlights diverse skills. Rulyu uses elemental magic and utility spells. Powerful physical skills like Boulder Crusher, Wind God Leg, and Heaven Dance Leg provide area damage and crowd control. Mental concentration offers defensive buffs. Partner management is also crucial. Partners like the Minotaur require feeding to maintain attack power. The Minotaur possesses a unique skill, Wild Bull Frenzy. The game combines character progression through skill mastery and party management elements. This page delves deeper into the special abilities featured in Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon, highlighting the diverse skill sets of key characters. We first look at Arle Naja, described as incredibly versatile. While she might rely heavily on skills when her MP is low at lower levels, as she levels up and gains more magical variety, she transforms into a powerhouse capable of unleashing magic constantly. Her featured moves include Firestorm, a wide-area fire attack, Heaven Ray, a potent light attack particularly effective against dark attribute foes, and Speed Down, a useful support spell that slows down opponents. Next is Sketso Wigi, the specialist of dark magic.
He is noted for having a large MP pool, making him effective when saving up power for crucial moments. His highlighted skills are Dark Flash, a linear dark sword attack, Ice Storm, an area effect ice spell, and Explosion, a powerful area fire attack that consumes significant MP. The screenshots show these characters in action, demonstrating the visual effects of their spells in dungeon combat. Finally, there's the third entry of the Dosukoi Koka's development backstage diary, offering insights into the game's creation, including mentions of specific dungeon areas like the Wonder Jungle and Horror House, and how players can uncover various strategies and techniques for the character's abilities. This page features the highly anticipated strategy RPG, Dragon Force 2. The striking artwork displays a dynamic group of heroes on the left, standing against a fiery sky, alongside a serene, winged character, bathed in soft light on the right. Above the imagery, the text urges patience, stating, "Wait a little longer until release." The page confirms key details. The game is scheduled for a March release from SEGA, priced at 5,800 yen, categorized as a simulation RPG, and recommended for players of all ages. The tagline below the title reads, "On the land where the gods departed." The accompanying text reveals that development is in its final phase, highlighting the significantly improved internal affairs phase compared to the original, which promises increased strategic depth for players. This page continues the in-depth look at Dragon Force 2, focusing on the core systems of warfare and internal affairs. The article emphasizes that while internal affairs like managing items and skills for generals are powered up from the previous game, the strategic depth in the battle phase has significantly increased. It suggests that mastering generals' special moves, unit strengths and weaknesses, formations and tactics will be crucial for victory, even against numerically superior foes. The section highlights the ability to compose armies with two different unit types under one general, allowing for compensating weaknesses. The battle phase itself is described as more strategic, moving beyond just brute force after an initial standoff. The page introduces various unit types through a table, which I will summarize, not list, detailing their names, characteristics, attack, and movement types. Screenshots showcase battle scenes with large numbers of troops clashing. Special moves are featured with dynamic illustrations and descriptions of their effects, hinting at their devastating power. The article also breaks down the 5 main formation types available, explaining how each affects troop placement and strategic advantages like offense, mobility, defense, or attack power. Finally, different battle tactics, such as the shield formation defending the general and charge attacking the enemy general, are explained and illustrated with simple diagrams showing troop positioning relative to the general and enemy. The overall message is that strategy is paramount in Dragon Force 2's refined combat system. Dragon Force 2 streamlines internal affairs, enhancing gameplay. A key addition is the Vice Minister system, aiding kingdom management. Main commands include Reward for boosting general morale, and Equip to enhance combat strength, with consequences for taking items back. Audience offers valuable hints and reveals general opinions. Other options, like castle building, training, and prisoner management, are also included. The game features an updated map information system, providing quick access to divisions, generals, and power dynamics. A key tip: assign loyal generals as governors to maintain castle stability and ensure long-term success. This page delves further into the refined gameplay mechanics of Dragon Force 2. It details the castle building command, where generals strengthen defenses against invaders, and the crucial Vice Minister role, introduced from the previous game, supporting the ruler by handling tasks like receiving reports and managing troop assignments, effectively streamlining internal affairs. The page also covers the Equip command, allowing players to enhance their generals by giving them items and armor to boost abilities, with the option to later remove items. A screenshot illustrates the general and item information interface. Research is highlighted as a new feature for obtaining new weapons and items by gathering materials and information. Screenshots walk through the process. Prisoner management involves meeting captured generals to potentially recruit them into your army, a task that can be delegated to the Vice Minister. Additionally, the page features a DF2 news section. It points out that the game's illustrations are handled by Shinya Kuwashima, known for his work on Record of Lodoss War, noting his distinctive sharp style. Another key piece of news is that Junko Iwao, also the voice actress for Tiris in the game, performs the opening and ending themes. The soundtrack containing these songs is set for release on April 17th.
This page is a vibrant feature on the upcoming Shining Force 2 Scenario 2 for the Sega Saturn. The main artwork showcases the game's heroes facing a massive kraken or octopus attacking a ship, highlighting the game's epic scale and naval combat elements. Prominent characters from Scenario 2, including the protagonist Medion, the elf Synbios, and others, are depicted ready for battle. The page announces the game is moving to a grand and evolving world, promising new perspectives and unexpected discoveries as the narrative shifts from a Republic swordsman to an Imperial prince's viewpoint. A special report indicates the game is 70% complete. Small screenshots illustrate the tactical RPG gameplay from various angles, including combat on a ship deck and town exploration. Text also teases facing a giant sea creature with the Imperial army, and hints at a connection between a silver-haired boy in this scenario and one from the opening of Scenario 1. The page concludes with details like a planned spring release, its genre as a simulation RPG, and its single-player nature. The next page provides more details on Shining Force 2 Scenario 2, focusing on the new technology, new world, and new factor introduced in this installment. Building on the previous game's setting, Scenario 2 features advanced weaponry, like cannons, ships, and tanks. The narrative perspective shifts to Medion from the Imperial side, offering a different journey and experience compared to Synbios' Republic route in Scenario 1. Medion's initial goal is to find his father, leading him through varied environments not seen before, including ruins, unique structures, and potential encounters with cultists and a mysterious masked knight. A key gameplay addition discussed under New Factor is the expansion of the Speak command, hinting that Medion's status as an Imperial prince might allow him to convince Imperial soldiers to join his cause during battles, adding a strategic layer to combat. The page features screenshots illustrating these new technologies, locations, and gameplay mechanics. This page provides a detailed look at the Sega Saturn port of the popular love simulation game, Pia e Yukoso. Set in a family restaurant, this game is getting a significant upgrade for its console release. The feature highlights several key improvements, including full-color graphics, high-resolution visuals, and full voice acting for the main heroines, bringing the characters to life more vividly. Additionally, the Saturn version includes new heroines and entirely new episodes, expanding the game's content. The page features multiple screenshots showcasing the game's environments, character sprites, and event scenes. We get a glimpse of characters like Satomi and Ikari, an aspiring actress who works at the restaurant. There's also a character identified as Acheri's mother, hinting at some of the relationship dynamics explored in the game. The report emphasizes that the game is nearing release and focuses on introducing some potential romantic beginnings within the story. It's noted as an 18+ title, indicating mature themes. Pia e Yukoso centers on the protagonist's part-time job as a waiter, where his performance and interactions with waitresses, the flowers of the restaurant, are crucial. Players can choose from 3 uniform designs, influencing events and appearances. The game features happenings during shifts, including interactions with characters like Rika and the potential for dates. Beyond the restaurant, relationships with characters like Shiho, who doesn't work at Pia, can be pursued. A core mechanic is weekly shift planning, where players schedule work, affecting stats, and unlocking events. Balancing work and relationship building is key, with a limited number of shifts per week. The game also introduces non-romantic relationships, such as with Kiyomi, the protagonist's teacher and cousin. This page features more details about Pia e Yukoso. Under the tagline, "Sometimes crying, sometimes laughing, just for you," the page highlights various emotional and relationship events players will experience. Specific scenes are shown and described, including one where Kiyomi, caught at school late, gets scared and relies on the protagonist, and another where Shiho is shown in a heated argument at the station with an older man, suggesting a relationship more complex than simple acquaintance. Another scene depicts Tofuyuko inviting the protagonist for lunch, leading to a look into the kitchen. The game enhances the experience, with Saturn-exclusive movie scenes integrated into specific events. As relationships deepen, the game explicitly depicts the physical connection between characters, strengthening their bond, with further details left to the player's imagination. Adding value, the game includes a service-filled special menu. This allows players to revisit event scenes they've unlocked in the graphic mode, and check progress towards seeing them all. There's also a music mode to listen to the game's background music. These features not only let players enjoy their favorite moments, but also serve as a guide for completing the game's content. The next page continues exploring the events in Pia e Yukoso. highlighting summer experiences. It showcases two distinct festival types: a traditional enichi featuring Shiho and Satomi in elegant yukata, where Shiho shares a hopeful thought about their relationship, and Satomi's inner monologue is revealed. The page also covers the Comic-It event, described as another kind of festival, showing Miruku in a unique costume and suggesting encounters related to doujinshi. Furthermore, the page previews an exciting 2-night, 1-day training trip to Okinawa. Preparations for the trip include Shiho and Satomi getting new swimsuits, and the trip itself involves Kiyomi-sensei and Miruku. Miruku is shown anticipating beach time, while Kiyomi is fully equipped for snorkeling. A Saturn-exclusive special menu feature is mentioned again, specifically highlighting special character outfits like Miruku's that players can view. These varied summer events provide diverse opportunities to deepen relationships with the characters. This page features a special report on the SEGA Saturn release of Nobunaga's Ambition, Shousei Roku, the 7th installment in the long-running historical simulation series. Players are tasked with unifying Japan by conquering 40 scattered castles. A key new feature highlighted is the integration of all commands, including domestic affairs, diplomacy, and strategy, onto a single map, providing a more streamlined experience. The game boasts a large roster of unique warlords, around 600 in total, each with their own strengths, whether in battle or internal governance. Players must strategically utilize these retainers to expand their territory before engaging in warfare. For newcomers, the page strongly recommends starting with the tutorial mode. It also details the 4 available historical scenarios, beginning in 1551 with Nobunaga's inheritance, moving through the pivotal Battle of Okehazama era, the period of active unification efforts around 1570, and culminating in the path to unification in 1582. Screenshots display the game's strategic map and character portraits. This page delves deeper into the mechanics of Nobunaga's Ambition, Shousei Roku, highlighting how all aspects of ruling are integrated onto the single map. It emphasizes that domestic affairs are inseparable from warfare, focusing on developing your territory through various facilities like fields, towns, and villages to increase income and resources such as rice, gold, and soldiers. Special facilities like iron mines and horse ranches provide valuable muskets and cavalry. Expanding your domain isn't just about taking enemy castles. You can build branch castles to extend your income range and bolster defenses. Preparing for war is critical, involving equipping your best warlords and understanding their unit aptitudes like infantry or cavalry to gain an advantage in different environments. Combat strategy is key, with a strong emphasis on flanking and rear attacks to surprise the enemy and gain a critical turn where they are defenseless. Beyond direct military might, the game allows for diplomatic engagement to bring independent forces into your fold, and the use of spies for sabotage, assassination, and disrupting enemy movements, potentially securing victory without pitched battles. Furthermore, items like weapons, armor, and special books can significantly boost your warlord's abilities in various fields like musketry, diplomacy, and commerce, adding another layer of strategic depth. Success in this game requires mastering both internal development and external conflict, whether through open warfare or covert operations. This page showcases the SEGA Saturn release of the arcade horror shooter, The House of the Dead. It highlights the inclusion of 2 new exclusive modes for the Saturn version, an original Saturn mode and a time attack mode, offering a unique experience compared to the arcade counterpart. The page introduces the 2 playable agents, Logan and Seg, detailing their distinct characteristics and combat styles. Logan is presented as a balanced character, while Gog is described as highly accurate, albeit with fewer bullets. Variations like Super Powerful Bullet Logan 2 and G2 for super advanced players are also featured, suggesting different character builds with altered stats like bullet damage, hit points, and accuracy tailored for various playstyles and skill levels. The article touches upon their mission to rescue Sophie and hints at the perilous challenges awaiting them at the DBR Corporation research facility. The game is confirmed as a gun-shooting title supporting the Virtua gun. The House of the Dead's Saturn version features a boss mode designed for boss-specific skill training. Players can challenge bosses individually in a time attack or face them sequentially. This mode provides insight into each boss, including attack patterns and weak points. The boss status section reveals details about each creature, with names derived from tarot cards, potentially offering tactical clues. The mode highlights 4 bosses: Chariot, Stage 1, a heavily armored enemy with a chest weak point;
Hanged Man, Stage 2, a flying demon vulnerable in its body. Hermit, Stage 3, a long-legged creature. And Magician, Stage 4, Drive. Kurian's ultimate creation. Before each fight, players see a diagram of the boss's weak point. This mode offers a focused way to master the game's challenging bosses. This page announces the results of the SEGA Saturn Magazine Grand Prix 1997, presenting the latter half of the awards, including the prestigious overall Grand Prix winner. Out of 18,596 valid votes cast between December 96 and December 97, the top honor goes to Grandia, developed by Game Arts especially, securing a commanding 7,055 votes. As any dedicated Saturn player knows, Grandia was a landmark RPG for the system, and its victory here is well-deserved, showcasing its massive popularity among readers. The page features a vibrant illustration of Grandia's main characters, Justin and Fina, alongside others, reflecting the game's epic fantasy setting. A smaller image shows a smiling gentleman, likely representing the winning development team, sitting with the Grand Prix trophy and other awards. The results table lists the top 15 games voted by readers, highlighting the diverse tastes of the Saturn community. Beyond Grandia, notable titles in the rankings include popular entries like Devil Summoners, Soul Hackers, the visual novel Even Burst Error, the mech strategy of Super Robot Wars F, the fighting crossover X-Men vs. Street Fighter, and classic shooters like Thunder Force V, among many other acclaimed titles from various genres that define the Saturn library. The page also outlines the different genre awards being presented in this installment of the results announcement. This page celebrates Grandia, the undisputed winner of the SEGA Saturn Magazine Grand Prix 97, and a monumental RPG developed by Game Arts, and especially having secured the top spot after years of anticipation for a flagship RPG on the Saturn. Grandia delivered everything players hoped for, and more. The page prominently displays the Grand Prix trophy, signifying Grandia's victory. Alongside this are vibrant screenshots from the game, highlighting its expressive characters and detailed environments, including a memorable quote box featuring dialogue from Justin and Fina. An image shows Toshiaki Miyagi, director at Game Arts, proudly holding the award, representing the team's success. Miyagi shares insights into the game's development, which took 4 years, and involved over 300 people by the end. He emphasizes the team's dedication to creating a game that players would feel deeply connected to, highlighting revolutionary aspects in its game system, visuals, and scenario. He expresses joy at the positive feedback from users, particularly touching stories like a letter from a parent whose child was inspired by the game. Miyagi reflects on the team's goal to create a hopeful and happy ending, contrasting it with more common dark or tragic conclusions in RPGs. He states they put their utmost effort into the game, and the positive reception is incredibly rewarding. He concludes by thanking players and promising to continue striving to make great games. This page truly captures the excitement and heartfelt effort behind Grandia's acclaimed victory. The SEGA Saturn Magazine Grand Prix 97 runner-ups for Best Game, and the winners of the shooting game category are highlighted. Devil Summoner. Soul Hackers by Atlas took second place overall, with the developers pleased by the game's unexpected replayability. Eve Burst Error, an adventure game by Kylus Ware and Imaginia, placed third overall, its strong narrative and visuals praised by the developers. In the shooting game category, Tsukyu Gurentai, Terra Cresta 3D, from Electronic Arts won, with developers hoping it revitalizes the genre. Thunder Force V and Sengoku Blade, Tengai, placed second and third respectively, with a top 15 shooting game ranking included. This page unveils the winners of the SEGA Saturn Magazine Grand Prix 97 in the RPG and simulation categories. In the RPG category, Grandia from Game Arts / especially claims the top spot with a commanding lead in votes. Featured alongside a screenshot, the developers express pride in Grandia, viewing it as the culmination of their RPG series, and highlighting its unique systems and 3D elements. The ranking also includes other notable titles like Devil Summoner, Soul Hackers, which also placed highly in the overall rankings shown previously, and adds to the discussion of whether this signals a new era for RPGs on the Saturn. For the simulation category, Super Robot Wars, Friend by Banpresto, secures first place. A screenshot shows the game's tactical combat. The producer's comment reflects on the game's success, despite its niche nature.
And thanks fans for their strong support. A list of runner-up simulation games is also presented, and the page discusses the future potential for simulation RPGs on the platform. This page presents the winners for 2 more categories in the SEGA Saturn Magazine Grand Prix 97. Simulation, Strategy, History, Management, and Simulation, Raising, Dating. In the Strategy, History, and Management Simulation category, the top spot goes to Let's Make a Soccer Team, 2 by SEGA. An image shows the game's UI. The developers express their satisfaction with the sequel, noting improvements like player editing and increased immersion, which built upon the success of the first game. The ranking lists the top 15 games, with Advanced World War, Chihei Kaihu Sakusen, and Quo Vadis 2 placing 2nd and 3rd respectively, highlighting the diverse range within this simulation genre. A note points out that when combined, the 2 simulation categories had the most nominated titles, indicating the genre's popularity on the platform. For the Raising and Dating Simulation category, the winner is Kakyusei from Elf, accompanied by an anime-style character illustration. The commentary praises the game's intricate scenarios, compelling characters, and the challenging yet rewarding dating simulation elements. It's noted that the game offers depth comparable to or even exceeding classics like Dokusei. The ranking shows Dokusei 2 and Yukyu Gensokyoku securing the 2nd and 3rd positions among the top 15 games in this category. A panel discusses how, despite their often cute appearance, many games in this genre on the Saturn are substantial simulation experiences, with voice acting adding significantly to their appeal. This page continues the SEGA Saturn Magazine Grand Prix 97 awards, focusing on the sports and puzzle game categories. In the sports category, the top honors go to Sonic SAR. This game is highlighted for its unique take on racing, allowing players to explore tracks freely and perform maneuvers, setting it apart from traditional racers. Yuji Naka, the game's producer, expressed gratitude for the positive reception, emphasizing the title's fresh racing concept. Close behind were Daytona USA Circuit Edition and Fire Pro Wrestling's 6-Men Scramble. For puzzle games, the winner is Hanagumi Tyson Columns, a clever combination of the Sakura Wars universe and the classic Columns gameplay. The game's integration of a story mode and beloved characters is praised for elevating it beyond a standard puzzle experience. Comments from key development figures like Uji Hiroi and Hirokatsu Kihara express satisfaction with the game's reception and its success as a unique versus puzzle title. Puyo Puyo Sun was a very close second, with Magical Drop 2i plus Tukotsu Go taking 3rd place. The page also touches on the strong showing of the puzzle genre on the Saturn. This page continues the award results, covering the table game and other genre categories. For the table game award, Culdecept from Omiya Soft was the clear winner. This game stands out as an innovative hybrid, combining the strategic depth of trading card games with the familiar structure of a board game. The developers, Hideo Suzuki and Takayuki Jingu, shared their excitement, thanking the players who supported their unique creation, emphasizing the game's appeal to core gamers. High-ranking titles in this category also included Quiz Nanero Dreams and Momotaro Duchuki. In the other genre category, the top prize goes to Resident Evil Biohazard by Capcom. This survival horror masterpiece was lauded for its gripping atmosphere, cinematic presentation, and clever blend of action and puzzles. The dramatic and unpredictable nature of the gameplay was highlighted as a major reason for its success. Capcom's Junichi Nagai spoke about the game's success on the Saturn, acknowledging its popularity and hoping more players would discover it. Other notable games in this diverse grouping included Neon Genesis Evangelion Digital Card Library and Falcom Classics. The page also notes the difficulty in categorizing the wide variety of games available. The 1997 SEGA Saturn Magazine Grand Prix highlighted key events and top games as voted by readers. The biggest news story was the failed Sega Bandai merger, garnering significant attention. Other notable news included Sega's new console model and third-party support with Enix and Chunsoft. Grandia dominated the Game Awards, winning multiple categories including Best RPG. Devil Summoner Soul Hackers and even Burst Error also received high praise. Genre winners included X-Men vs. Street Fighter Best Port, Silhouette Mirage Best Action, Dead or Alive Best Fighting, Sengoku Blade Best Shooting, and Super Robot Wars F Best Simulation RPG. The review noted the strong presence of third-party titles and anticipated future releases like Sakura Wars 2, while acknowledging growing interest in next-generation hardware. This page covers the strange but fascinating arrival of staff from the popular TV show Susumu Denpa Shonen at the SEGA Saturn magazine editorial department, driven by the show's infamous Invincible Salesman segment. This segment features talent Fuwa Ryo attempting to sell the SEGA Saturn game Denpa Shonen Teki game by visiting karaoke boxes across Japan on a bicycle, covering most expenses himself. The page highlights the unusual nature of this promotional method and the salesman's ongoing struggle to repay his debts through game sales. The game itself, Denpa Shonen Teki game, is a party game published by Hudson, supporting up to 7 players and compatible with the multi-terminal 6 accessory. It was recommended for all ages and priced at 4,800 yen. This cross-media promotion from a highly rated TV show was clearly a big event for the magazine, showing the lengths gone to promote a game in the late 90s. Comedian Fuwa Ryo, the invincible salesman from Susumu Denpa Shunen, promotes the SEGA Saturn party game Denpa Shunen Teki game. In this interview, he reveals the retail version includes 10 mini-games, up from the karaoke box version. Fuwa credits his promotional efforts for the game's affordable price, 4,800 yen. He describes his sales persona as intense, a contrast to his relaxed interview style. He views his debt as an initial investment, akin to fishing for future gains. Despite reduced commission, he prioritizes affordability and widespread distribution. The interview ends with a gameplay session at the editorial department, alongside a brief profile of Fuwa Ryo, solidifying the cross-media promotion as a key event. The next page dives into the game session itself, pitting comedian Fuwa Ryo against the SEGA Saturn magazine editorial team in Denpa Shonen Teki game. Fuwa's arrival at the office prompts comments about it looking more like a storage room than an editorial department, but the mood quickly shifts as they engage in the party game. The article highlights several of the mini-games included in the retail version. These range from classic Japanese games like a frantic whack-a-mole variant and red light, green light, to more unusual challenges like burning paper under a coin without dropping it, a spot the difference game, and even a rather personal anonymous survey where you investigate who answered yes to provocative questions. There's also a rock-paper-scissors game where the winner gets to hit the loser with a hammer, protected by a helmet, thankfully, and a game involving raising red and white flags. Fuwa is shown particularly enjoying a game where you climb a tree, dodging falling coconuts. The piece emphasizes that while the games are simple, they are packed with the potential for competitive fun and even punitive outcomes, making them perfect for lively group play, though perhaps less engaging with just guys. The editor's note reflects on being swept up in Fuwa's energy and the surprising depth of the simple party game. This page dives deeper into the chaotic game session with Fuwa Ryo and the Saturn magazine staff playing Denpa Shonen Teki game. As the tension builds, the focus shifts to the dreaded punishment games for the losers. Initially, the SATURN team was doing well, but the article notes they gradually fell into Fuwa's unpredictable pace. The images vividly depict the bizarre consequences of losing, including bizarre punishments like having to show your armpit or submitting your navel lint. One image shows a screenshot mentioning a shin kick punishment, while another captures a camera person getting targeted for the kiss the person on the left penalty. Amidst the madness, there's a humorous aside where someone requests a cute girl called Miss Softmap, only for the text to retort, "We are Softmap," followed by the kissing punishment image, suggesting the camera person was an unfortunate substitute. The page also touches on the behind the scenes, discussing negotiations about the article's layout, including Fuwa's pictures potentially appearing on the cover, indicating the significance of this event. A commentary from writer K reflects on the whole absurd situation. The session seems to wrap up with Fuwa's departure, marked by a final image featuring a flag related to the game's title, leaving the reader with a sense of strange, comedic closure. This page introduces a brand new recurring feature, the Deluxe Super Robot Lab, kicking off with Volume 1. This section is dedicated to preparing readers for the impending release of Super Robot Wars, Final Chapter. The lab is set up within the magazine's headquarters, with the mission to research super robots and support fans in achieving world peace and enjoying the upcoming game. The editorial department explicitly states its commitment to helping players fully experience Super Robot Wars, Final Chapter, promising to deliver various information, including behind-the-scenes details, related software, and merchandise. They encourage readers to look forward to future installments. The page also highlights 2 recommended items for fans. First, there's a Super Robot Wars Phi character dissection video, which appears to be a video explaining the mechs and potentially characters from the game, noting the current trend of revisiting classic anime via video releases. Second, a recommended reference book is introduced. Mazinger Z Anatomy Book, Iron Castle. This book is described as a must-have, delving into the origins of Mazinger Z, including production details, mechanical beast introductions, and even early project proposals for Mazinger, Great Mazinger, and God Mazinger. It's presented as the ultimate guide to understanding the roots of these iconic robots. This page features the Super Robot F Edition illustration market, showcasing fan submissions for the game. Readers have sent in enthusiastic artwork featuring characters and mechs from various series appearing in Super Robot Wars' final chapter, such as Mobile Suit Gundam, Legendary Giant Ideon, and Aura Battler Dunbine. The editors highlight the passion of the fans and praise the quality of the submitted illustrations, including panoramic pieces and dynamic depictions of robot battles. The page also kicks off a new sub-feature, asking if readers are familiar with the original anime series that make up the world of Super Robot Wars. The first entry delves into the legendary giant Ideon, created by Yoshiyuki Tomino immediately after his work on Mobile Suit Gundam. It describes Ideon as a mysterious robot discovered on the Solo planet, highlighting its unique themes and intense story that resonates with fans. Similar to the impact of Evangelion today, a screenshot from Super Robot Wars F showing the Ideon is included. Additionally, the page issues a call for more illustrations and questions from readers for upcoming installments of the Super Robot Lab feature. Finally, the week's proverb, "Unexpected things happen," is shared, attributed to Sima Garahao, a character from Mobile Suit Gundam 0083, serving as a philosophical reflection. This page features a multi-panel illustration alongside text that appears to be a narrative or lore piece related to the game Baroque. The artwork shows a distorted mechanical left panel, a glowing blue, humanoid liquid-like figure in the center, and a dark, abstract right panel. The main text is titled, "To You," and seems to be a personal message or reflection, referencing characters and events within the game's world. Below, a section provides a summary of previous events. This summary recounts the protagonist being drawn into a warped world, encountering mysterious entities like Suzume and Ruby, discovering strange discs, and being directed towards the headquarters of the mysterious organization Mark. The text highlights themes of distortion, memory loss, and searching for truth within the chaotic game world, ultimately suggesting the narrative continues within Baroque itself. The next page presents Baroque Syndrome and Baroque Filled Up Pointing Triangle Prequel Volume 14, and Towards Your Story, continuing the deep dive into the game's lore. The main text, titled Release 14, narrates a sequence of events where the protagonist confronts hostile believers in the Nerve Tower. Key elements include Ruby, bullets, and a mysterious disc. The text highlights the use of melodies, specifically referencing the Tarantella melody, as a method of brainwashing by the marked organization's followers. The protagonist describes navigating the tower's spiral staircase under duress, facing system errors, and witnessing the tower begin to flood. Communication via an intercom is mentioned, potentially involving Ruby or KYTSNE. The bottom section explains that Baroque Filled Up Pointing Triangle Prequel is a serialized novel exploring the game's backstory and concepts, providing a deeper understanding of the twisted world depicted in Baroque. This page is an advertisement for the official strategy guide for Sonic Team's highly anticipated SEGA Saturn title, Burning Rangers. The image features the main cast of the game, Sho Amabane, Tillis, Chris Parton, and Big Landman, depicted in dynamic poses against a backdrop suggesting fire and rescue operations. The guide, published by SoftBank, promises a complete strategy for the game, which is known for its unique firefighting and rescue gameplay, vertical level design, and the innovative Generate system for procedural level generation. The text highlights that the book will offer an easy-to-understand introduction to the basic controls and game systems, provide maps to help navigate the complex stage layouts, and offer in-depth strategies specifically for the Generate system. Additionally, it includes character design materials for the Burning Rangers team, comments directly from Sonic Team, and other valuable information. The central message on the page urges readers to rescue all the people in need with this one book,
capturing the game's core objective. This official guide was scheduled for release in mid-March at a price of 1,000 yen. It's presented as the definitive resource for mastering this unique SEGA Saturn action title. This page features an advertisement for the official guidebooks for the SEGA Saturn simulation game, Pro Yaku Team O Tsukuru, part of Sega's Let's Make series. The guide highlights the key aspects of the game, which focuses on building and managing a professional baseball team. The advertisement promotes two distinct guidebooks. The first, titled Ike Ike Hen, is already available and covers the basics of the game. The second guide, Yarakomi Hen, is scheduled for release in late March '98 and is aimed at more dedicated players looking for in-depth strategies. The official guides promise to delve into four key areas: team management, player development, training camps, and detailed player data. The visuals include cartoony depictions of baseball characters and small screenshots showing the game's interface, giving potential managers a glimpse into the simulation aspects. The Ike Ike Hen guide is priced at 950 yen, while the upcoming Yarikomi Hen is estimated at 1,400 yen. These guides, published by SoftBank, are presented as essential tools for anyone looking to dominate the professional baseball world within the game. This page features an advertisement for Continuation of a Dream, Vietnam, Nippon. The first photo essay by Hiroi Uji, the acclaimed creator behind hit game series like Sakura Wars and Far East of Eden. The book combines photographs taken by Hiroi Uji in Vietnam, described as one of Asia's most vibrant countries, with essays where he reflects on his personal history, specifically his upbringing in Tokyo during the Showa 30s, mid-1950s to early 1960s. It's presented as a unique fusion, linking the energy of present-day Vietnam with nostalgic memories of his past in Tokyo. The book is popularly on sale, is B5 size with 136 pages, and costs 1,800 yen, published by SoftBank. This page features an advertisement for a strategy guide for the classic Sega Saturn RPG, Grandia. Prominently displayed is the game's logo alongside the promise that all mysteries are solved. The ad showcases various screenshots from the game, including a large green monster, main character Justin, a character resembling Fina, the Geofront City, and the Grandia airship. The main focus is the Grandia official guidebook completion volume, which is described as highly recommended and now on sale. This guide specifically covers the latter half of the game, focusing on Disc 2. With detailed maps to help players navigate, it boasts complete coverage of all three special stages, a full list of all items, and detailed monster data. The ad also mentions a previous guide, likely covering the earlier parts of the game, which has sold over 200,000 copies. The completion volume guide is a 5 size, contains 160 pages, and is priced at 950 yen. It's published by SoftBank, the same company featured on the previous page for their book publication. This guide seems essential for any player looking to fully complete Grandia and uncover every secret the later stages hold. This page is an advert for Convenience Store 2 on Sega Saturn, a simulation game about building a national convenience store chain, featuring Mannequinico cats. This page is the reader contribution corner of the magazine, titled Let's Park, and encouraging readers to aim for Submission King. It features a collection of short messages and anecdotes submitted by readers from various prefectures. The entries cover a range of topics, including strange occurrences while working, humorous personal stories like dealing with nosebleeds or being clumsy, and comments related to games and gaming culture, such as discussing a magazine focused on prizes or spending a long time choosing a pen name. A notable section titled Revival of Masterpieces showcases reader illustrations. One submission blends characters resembling Pokemon, Pikachu, with what looks like a Sega character, with the reader expressing hope for Sega characters to be just as popular. Another illustration is based on the House of the Dead, depicting the protagonist, Yogg, interacting with a zombie. There are also illustrations and discussions related to a humorous theory about a character having a single, thick strand of hair, possibly referencing a specific anime or game series. Overall, the page provides a lighthearted look at the reader's experiences and interests, including their passion for Sega games and popular culture. This page features the Saturn Users Plaza,
a section for reader contributions and opinions. Readers weigh in on various topics, including the pros and cons of limited edition game packages, discussing whether the standard edition of games like Sentimental Graffiti felt less complete without the bonuses found in the limited version. Another discussion covers game copyright, contrasting it with movie rights, and considering what aspects of a game, like the program or graphics, constitute copyrighted material. There's also commentary on the used games market, arguing that it may not directly harm new game sales as much as thought, as some buyers might not have purchased new copies anyway, suggesting a need for solutions that benefit both publishers and consumers. Below, the Satamaga words section offers reader-submitted gaming terms and phrases, including definitions and usage examples like a Virtua Fighter character's winning quote, or observations about characters from games like Grandia. The page also includes true gamers rules and bad gamers rules, amusing observations about player habits such as hardcore players favoring player 1, or accidentally soft resetting the console during intense moments, particularly noted for Dead or Alive. A short comic strip depicts a scenario related to clearing a game, and illustrations from readers, including one charmingly showing a SEGA Saturn console welcoming its owner home late at night, round out the page's content. This page is dedicated to the SEGA Saturn Users Plaza, showcasing reader contributions and feedback. The Noberu Relay section introduces a new reader-submitted story corner. The first entry describes a scene in a cafe after a graduation ceremony, where characters discuss their future paths and mention classic gaming hardware like the Game Gear. In the Oshiema's Show Q&A section, readers pose questions ranging from humorous personal anecdotes to specific game queries, including asking for song titles from game endings and seeking advice after losing valuable game save data. This week's Mixed Up character features a reader's creative illustration combining different characters, presenting Dokanju Gale this week. The Friend of the Heart section includes a reader's review of Gekka Mugentan Toriko, praising its detailed background art, atmospheric music, and engaging story, highlighting these elements as key to the game's appeal. The Submission Kings Hall of Fame update shows the top spot is currently vacant, while listing readers who have accumulated points through their contributions, acknowledging the highest scorers and those receiving prizes. Finally, a section showcases various reader illustrations, including unique character designs like Hy-Vee dance figures and other creative drawings, demonstrating the artistic talent within the community. This page features the Part Gallery, showcasing artwork submitted by readers. A significant portion of the gallery is dedicated to illustrations based on the game Panzer Dragoon Saga, referred to here by its Japanese title, Azel Panzer Dragoon RPG. Readers have submitted drawings of characters like Edge and his dragon, as well as the enigmatic Azel herself, with comments reflecting their appreciation for the game's character designs and atmosphere. Other submissions feature characters from games like Machi, a popular sound novel series, highlighting the diverse interests of the readership. One contributor notes the charm of a character named Keima from Machi. This week's best contribution is from Nishida Mana of Saitama Prefecture, accompanied by a comment on their preference for slightly chubby women being healthy and cute. The information section provides guidelines for submitting artwork, emphasizing the required format, black and white on postcards or white paper, and mentioning the points system used for rewarding contributors, including details on prizes like SEGA Saturn software or gift certificates. The address for sending submissions is also listed. This page is an order form and catalog from the Creative Human Mail Order Department. It provides contact information, business hours, and details on shipping costs and delivery times. The main section lists a substantial lineup of upcoming SEGA Saturn games with their release dates, primarily March and April, prices, and often includes small screenshots or character art. Key releases featured include the strategy RPG Dragon Force 2, the popular Sakura Wars 2, Thou Shalt Not Die, fighting game favorites like the King of Fighters 97 and Darkstalkers 3, Vampire Savior, the arcade light gun port The House of the Dead, and the classic adventure Riven. There's also Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, Akumaju Dracula X, Gekka no Yasukyoku, listed. A crucial port for the console, among many other titles covering genres from simulation and strategy to visual novels and shooters. Many games offer a poster as a reservation bonus. The page also outlines how to order via fax or postcard and lists available SEGA Saturn hardware and peripherals like the console and memory cards. Prices are listed including the 5% consumption tax. This page presents a strategy guide for the competitive shooter Twinkle Star Sprites, titled Aim to be the Chain Explosion King and Zako Character Formation Route Volume 2. This article follows up on a previous volume, delving into specific tactics for defeating common enemy groups and triggering powerful chain explosions, which are crucial for success in the game. The page features diagrams illustrating different enemy formations, labeled Max 12, along with detailed instructions on how to eliminate them effectively. Each section provides a visual representation of the enemy arrangement and a step-by-step breakdown of the recommended strategy, including notes on enemy durability. The tactics described involve targeting specific bubbles, manipulating enemy movement patterns like U-turns, and exploding groups at precise moments and locations to maximize chain reactions. It emphasizes that mastering these explosion techniques and timing is a key element for scoring high and dominating matches in this fast-paced shooting game. This page continues the in-depth strategy guide for Twinkle Star Sprites, focusing on breaking down specific enemy formations, labeled Max 12. It presents a series of diagrams illustrating complex enemy patterns and movements, providing expert advice on how to tackle each one effectively. The text accompanying each diagram explains the optimal strategy, detailing which bubbles or enemy groups to target first, how to manipulate their paths, and the precise timing required to trigger powerful chain explosions. The guide emphasizes understanding the different enemy types and their durability, offering specific techniques like luring groups into advantageous positions or prioritizing certain colored bubbles to maximize damage and scoring potential. Mastering these detailed formation breakdowns and the timing of your attacks is crucial for advanced play and achieving high scores in this challenging shooter. This page presents the final installment of a serialized novel titled Tsukyu Gurentai, known as Terra Diver in some regions, based on the intense vertical shooter by racializing and aiding. This is Chapter 24, bearing the dramatic title, Death or Escape to the Future. The page includes a recap of the previous events, detailing an attack on the JFE headquarters, and the subsequent investigation involving Yasuda. The story involves conflict with an entity known as Yahataba, the destruction of Tengen, and a climactic battle where Yasuda, aided by Yahataba initially, ultimately defeats a significantly enhanced Yahataba with a critical counterattack from Mikazuki, leading to Yahataba's self-destruction. The main section continues this narrative, bringing the story to its conclusion. It's clear this serialization expands upon the lore and characters established in the game, providing fans with a deeper dive into its universe through a dramatic, character-driven SF story credited to writer Yuichi Ishida, with racializing providing the original concept. This page features the dramatic conclusion to the serialized novel based on the intense vertical shooter, Tsukyu Gurentai, also known as Terra Diver. This final chapter delves into the aftermath of the conflict, revealing the tragic deaths of Captain Yasuda and Kunimura, with Mikazuki returning as the sole survivor of the pivotal battle against Yahataba. The narrative follows Brent, a key character involved in the investigation into a destroyed Mars facility and the allegations of terrorism against the Yahataba faction. Brent is given a critical task to prove Yahataba's involvement, facing potential high risk or high return. Supplementing the story are profiles of key characters from the series. These include Yoshida Kaoru, the former captain who perished in battle; Ude Ryota, confirmed as the sole survivor and new captain, known to players as Mikazuki; and Kunimura Rika, another former member involved in monitoring JFE. The profiles detail their roles and fates within the novel's expanded universe, adding depth to the established lore of the Tsukyu Gurentai Squadron and the ongoing conflict with rival powers. This page continues the serialized novel based on the intense vertical shooter, Tsukyu Gurentai, known internationally as Terra Diver. Picking up after the devastating battle, the narrative sees Mikazuki returning, reflecting on the consequences and the ongoing investigation into the destroyed Mars facility. The story focuses on Brent's perspective as he navigates the political fallout between the rival factions, Yahataba and Kisei, and the uncertain future of Mars development. The text highlights the detrimental impact of the conflict on the development plan, suggesting that even proving Yahataba's culpability might be meaningless, given the stalemate between the two companies. The illustrations feature key characters from the story, depicting their expressions, and a scene overlooking a detailed, somewhat dilapidated urban landscape, hinting at the setting of the novel. The artwork, credited to Kinoshita Tomotake, adds visual depth to the compelling narrative. This page marks the conclusion of the serialized novel based on the intense vertical shooter, Terra Diver, Tsukyu Gurentai. The story wraps up the current arc, with Mikazuki, Yoshida, and Kunimura obtaining new identification and parting ways. They reflect on their past as mercenaries and look towards uncertain futures, hinting that their paths might cross again, potentially on the battlefield. A signpost illustration clearly marks the end of this particular feature within the SEGA Saturn magazine. The page also includes a message from Rising, the developer. This message confirms that this is the 24th and final installment of the novel serialization. The team expresses deep gratitude to everyone involved, from staff like Ishida-san, Kikuchi-san, Hasegawa-san, and Kinoshita-san, to the original webpage author, Yone Guangxi, who inspired the project. The message also hints at the possibility that the world of Terra Diver might see further development in games or other forms in the future. Finally, there's a brief note from Yuichi Toyama. He mentions successfully clearing the PlayStation title Colony Wars, and is looking forward to playing what sounds like potential game titles, Nuke Strike, and Dark Great Extreme, perhaps future projects or other games he's interested in. This page is a mail-order catalog from Santa, a store specializing in SEGA products. It features a comprehensive list of new software and peripherals available for purchase via mail order. The catalog includes items for the SEGA Saturn, as well as older systems like the Mega Drive, Mega CD, and Game Gear, covering games like Tsukyu Gurentai, Terra Diver, and Guardian Heroes. Prices are listed next to each item, with the note that consumption tax will be added. The page provides contact information including phone, fax, and a website address. Details are given on how to place an order, accepting methods via phone or fax, and outlining the payment options available: cash on delivery, bank transfer, payment via registered mail, and postal transfer. Shipping fees are detailed, with regional variations and an additional charge for cash on delivery. It's presented as a straightforward list of available products for enthusiasts looking to purchase SEGA hardware and software. This page features two columns from notable personalities. The first is Tomoe Sakurai's Message to Your Heart Volume 12, where voice actress and singer Tomoe Sakurai discusses her busy schedule. She mentions upcoming stage performances in Shinjuku in April and her participation in the third part of the show, noting Izumi Takemoto will be a special guest. Sakurai is also working on a new original album and looks forward to its release this year, which marks her 11th year in the entertainment industry. She highlights the release of the Actress Jitterbug CD album on March 11th, featuring songs from a stage play, and encourages readers to check it out. She also sends well wishes to students during graduation season. The second column, presented as a manga strip titled Izumi Takemoto's Various Notes No. 12, A Day's Distraction, is a humorous reflection by manga artist Izumi Takemoto on needing distractions when feeling worn out. She lists activities like watching anime, drawing manga, playing games, drinking, and karaoke. However, she comically realizes she hasn't been doing many of these lately, except possibly drawing manga. She concludes that her tendency to spend time lounging during work means she doesn't feel tired, and that lounging is her form of distraction. Games are mentioned as a potential distraction activity. The information section confirms the March 11th release of the Actress Jitterbug CD. This page features the 14th installment of the manga column by something Yoshimatsu, boldly titled Sega Games Are the Best in the World. The strip depicts a pair of anthropomorphic Sega Saturn consoles taking the stage before an audience. They address the crowd, directly referencing the competitive console market by contrasting the Sega Saturn sales numbers with the phenomenal global success of the PlayStation. As you might expect, this comparison touches a nerve with the Saturn characters, who react defensively to the perceived superiority of the PlayStation's processing power. The tension escalates not into a gaming showdown, but a sudden, humorous challenge to settle their differences with a drinking contest. This is then twisted into a punchline, where the Saturn characters claim invincibility specifically at Drinking Sprite, a playful jab referencing the console's name. The audience seems bewildered by this bizarre conclusion to the console war debate. The column is created by something Yoshimatsu, an animation creator and self-proclaimed passionate Sega maniac, offering a lighthearted look at the era's console rivalry from a dedicated Saturn fan's perspective. The SEGA Saturn Software Databank is a detailed database of games released for the console between November 22, 1994 and March 5, 1998. It offers information on each game, including release date, title, manufacturer, price, genre, and scores from readers and magazine reviewers. Compatibility notes, age recommendations, and peripheral support are also included. The data is presented in a sortable table format, beginning with early titles like Virtua Fighter and Myst,
and chronologically progressing through September 1995 in this example. Notable games like Panzer Dragoon, Daytona USA, and Virtua Fighter Remix are present alongside a diverse selection of genres. The databank serves as a valuable resource for understanding the Saturn's game library and how games were received by both players and critics, providing a glimpse into the console's evolution. This page continues the SEGA Saturn software databank, listing games released from late 1995 through early 1996. The database format remains consistent, detailing titles, manufacturers, genres, and both reader and magazine scores. You'll find a diverse range of titles here, including familiar international hits like SimCity 2000, Princess Maker 2, Puyo Puyo 2, Rayman, X-Men, Children of the Atom, Virtua Fighter 2, NBA Jam, Sega Rally Championship, Street Fighter Alpha, and Guardian Heroes. The databank also includes numerous fighting games, sports titles, and unique Japanese releases covering various genres. The scores provide a snapshot of how these games were perceived by players and critics upon release, offering valuable insight into the Saturn's evolving library during this period. This page continues the SEGA Saturn software databank, providing a comprehensive list of games released for the console from March through July of 1996. It follows the familiar format, detailing each game's release date, Japanese title, manufacturer, price, genre, and both reader and magazine review scores. This section covers a diverse range of software, including action games, role-playing titles, simulations, and puzzle games, offering a valuable snapshot of the SEGA Saturn's library expansion during the middle of 1996. The scores give a clear indication of how these titles were perceived by both the gaming public and the magazine's reviewers at the time. This page continues the SEGA Saturn software databank, chronicling the console's releases from August through November of 1996. This crucial period saw the launch of several landmark titles that solidified the Saturn's library. Among the most significant were major RPGs like Sakura Taisen and Lunar Silver Star Story, which earned impressive scores from both readers and the magazine, and the highly acclaimed adventure game, Policenauts. Fighting game enthusiasts were treated to Street Fighter Alpha 2 and Virtua Fighter Kids, while action game fans could delve into titles like Dark Savior, or experience arcade classics like Batsugun, and the Sega Ages collection featuring Outrun and Afterburner 2. The sheer variety on display, spanning everything from racing and strategy to puzzles and simulation, reflects the diverse range of software hitting the platform, with review scores demonstrating a wide spectrum of reception among players and critics alike. This page continues the comprehensive SEGA Saturn software databank, picking up the listings from late 1996 and moving into the releases of early 1997. This segment highlights a mix of genres hitting the console, reflecting its broad appeal during this period. You'll find highly anticipated titles like the mecha combat game Cybertroopers Virtual On, the dark survival horror adventure Enemy Zero, and the critically acclaimed strategy RPG Tactics Ogre. Arcade fans weren't left out, with releases such as Virtua Cop 2, Dynamite Cop, and Daytona USA Circuit Edition bringing authentic experiences home. The list also includes ports of major Western hits like Tomb Raider and Area 51, alongside popular Japanese series entries like Mega Man 8 and Fire Pro Wrestling. This databank provides a valuable snapshot of the Saturn's diverse library during these crucial months, showcasing the wide variety of games available to players, from sports and puzzles to intense action and deep RPGs. This page continues the comprehensive SEGA Saturn software databank, cataloging releases primarily from spring 1997. It provides a detailed look at the games hitting the console during this period, including release dates, pricing, genres, and user/magazine review scores. The list features a diverse array of titles, from arcade ports like Elevator Action Returns and Virtua Cop 2, to popular series entries such as Sakura Wars and Puyo Puyo Sun. You'll also find ports of major international hits like Tomb Raider and Civilization, alongside Japanese favorites like Nobunaga's Ambition and Dragon Force. This segment of the databank highlights the breadth of the Saturn's library, covering action, strategy, puzzles, and sports games, reflecting the console's varied appeal. This page continues the extensive SEGA Saturn software databank, diving into releases from June, July, and August of 1997. The list features a diverse lineup, including arcade ports like the intense shooter Skullfang and the fighting game Final Fight Revenge. We see entries from popular series, such as The Collected History and Sonic Jam,
and the compilation of Puyo Puyo Sun. Sports fans got their fix with PGA Tour 97 and various Japanese sports titles. Notable highlights include the survival horror classic Resident Evil, making its way to the system, offering a different kind of tension. The critically acclaimed Thunder Force vs. delivered blistering SHMUP action, and the iconic Mobile Suit Gundam side story, The Blue Destiny, brought mech combat to life. The list also includes unique Japanese titles spanning various genres, from adventure and role-playing games like Dark Hunter and Dark Seed 2, to puzzle games and racing titles. The databank provides genre classifications and review scores from both the magazine and its readers, offering insight into how these games were received at the time, showcasing both high-scoring hits and more niche releases. From September to December 1997, the Sega Saturn received a diverse array of games. September saw strong fighters like Street Fighter Collection and Dodonpachi, adventure game Desire, action platformer Silhouette Mirage, and RPGs like Romance of the Three Kingdoms. October delivered Dead or Alive, Samurai Showdown 64, and game creation tool Dizemon 2. November showcased RPG Devil Summoner, Soul Hackers, and sports sim J-League Pro Soccer Club Wotsukuru. December featured X-Men vs. Street Fighter, visual novel Uno, Racer Sonic R, strategy game Warcraft 2, SHMUP Cotton 2, and card RPG Concept. Many games supported peripherals like RAM cartridges, modems, mice, and FDDS, highlighting the Saturn's varied capabilities and ongoing software support. The next page continues the comprehensive Sega Saturn software database, focusing on releases from January, February, and March of 1998. This section is packed with details on games spanning a wide range of genres, including RPGs, action titles, strategy games, adventure games, and even more niche categories like simulation and puzzles. For January 1998, notable titles listed include Grandia, the highly acclaimed RPG from GameArts, and Sakura Wars 2, Thou Shalt Not Die, a beloved strategy RPG visual novel. The database provides reader and magazine review scores for many entries, offering insights into how these games were received at the time. Moving into February 1998, the list features games like Shining Force 2 Eyes Scenario 1, kicking off the epic strategy RPG trilogy. The variety continues with sports games, adventure titles, and more. The peripheral support column indicates which games utilize accessories like the mouse or multiplayer adapters, highlighting the diverse ways games interacted with the Saturn hardware. Finally, the March 1998 section lists releases such as the racing game Sega Ages, Power Drift, and the action title Burning Rangers. This page serves as a vital record for Saturn enthusiasts, detailing the continuous flow of software and the critical reception of titles during these early months of 1998. It clearly shows the platform was still receiving significant support, with both major first-party titles and diverse third-party releases. This page is a reader survey, clearly aiming to gather valuable feedback from the magazine's audience. It prompts readers to provide demographic information like gender, age, and occupation, as well as details about their Sega Saturn software collection and the other gaming magazines they read. Beyond the personal data, the survey seeks direct input on the magazine itself, asking for opinions on the cover and which articles in the current issue were most interesting. This shows a genuine effort to tailor future content to reader preferences. Perhaps most importantly for a gaming publication, it asks readers about the hardware they own or plan to purchase, and specifically requests a list of the top 10 software titles they desire. This provides crucial data for understanding market trends and reader demand, likely influencing future magazine coverage and potentially even industry decisions. The page includes detailed instructions on how to fill out the survey correctly, ensuring the data can be efficiently processed. This page is promoting the official guidebook for the Sega Saturn RPG, Legend of Heroes IV, A Tear of Vermilion, also known as the White Witch, another Legend of Heroes. The page features the game's title prominently at the top, with beautiful character artwork including the main protagonists, Juri and Chris, and other supporting characters from the game. There's a smaller inset showing close-ups of Juri and Chris. The guide itself is described as a comprehensive resource for fans of the Sega Saturn version. It includes detailed explanations of the game system, map strategies, character profiles, a story walkthrough, and information on finding hidden events and items. A significant highlight is an interview with Kazuhiro Soeta, the character designer and animation director, offering insights into the game's visuals and animated sequences. The guide also features storyboards from the game's movies and previously unseen original artwork and setting materials. The guide is presented in a 5 format, contains 128 pages, and is priced at 1,300 yen. It was scheduled for release in early March. This guide is clearly aimed at providing everything a player would need to fully explore and enjoy the deep world and story of this classic Falcom RPG on the Saturn. This page is an advertisement for a magazine called Soccer Calcio, described as a new type of soccer and game magazine. This first volume prominently features the SEGA Saturn game, J.League Pro Soccer Club wo Tsukuru 2, also known as Sakatsuku 2. The magazine includes a substantial 64-page strategy guide dedicated to the game, delving into important mechanics like scouting, player training abroad, linkage, system, and edit modes, essential for managing your virtual soccer club effectively. Beyond the game guide, Soccer Calcio offers content for real-world soccer fans too, promising to reveal the true strength of the Japanese national team. It includes a World Cup schedule, the latest FIFA rankings, and information on various national teams. The magazine also features engaging content like humorous 4-panel manga, a comic column by game designer Kenji Ino, and a special interview with Jeff United Ichihara goalkeeper Kenichi Shimokawa. The page is visually anchored by a humorous illustration of the Japanese national team players in a chibi style. Soccer Calcio Volume 1 is a hefty, a 4-sized magazine with 160 pages, and is priced at 780 yen, tax included. It is already on sale to critical acclaim. This page presents a special feature and interview about the SEGA Saturn game Let's Make a Pro Baseball Team, known as Sakutsuku Baseball, within the popular series. The main goal here is to highlight the game's extensive features and appeal for readers who haven't yet experienced it. The centerpiece is a conversation featuring Pancho Ito, a prominent personality in Japanese baseball broadcasting, who also has significant real-world experience in baseball management and data handling. Pancho Ito plays the game for the first time during the interview, and his reactions and insights are discussed. He expresses considerable surprise and admiration for the game's detailed simulation aspects. Topics covered include the depth of managing team finances, the excitement of the player draft, with a screenshot shown, player scouting, and development. Pancho Ito draws parallels between the game's mechanics and his own long career in baseball, noting the realism in managing player contracts, salaries, and historical events like manager trades. He was particularly impressed by how the game captures the nuances of the sport's business side. The page features a photo of Pancho Ito and the other participants in the interview, alongside game logos and a list of the Japanese professional baseball teams included in the game. This feature effectively conveys the game's depth as a realistic baseball simulation. The next page continues the deep dive into the simulation aspects of Let's Make a Pro Baseball Team. Featuring the ongoing interview with baseball personality Pancho Ito. He expresses genuine fascination with the game, particularly how it captures the intricate details of being a general manager. Pancho Ito, with his extensive real-world experience, highlights the game's realism in handling team finances, player drafts, and the complex business side of baseball, noting the dry, transaction-focused nature of player deals in the American leagues. The page includes several photos depicting Pancho Ito engrossed in playing the game alongside others, conveying his rapid immersion into its mechanics. A small game screenshot is also shown, illustrating the in-game visuals and emphasizing the presence of Pancho Ito's actual commentary within the game. Yoshiaki Kitagawa from the game's planning team is also pictured, likely demonstrating the game's features. This page continues the interview with baseball personality Pancho Ito and sound director Yoshiaki Kitagawa about the simulation game Let's Make a Pro Baseball Team. The discussion delves into the game's mechanics, such as the simulated 3-year player lifespan contrasting with real-life careers, and how it impacts player development and trades. Pancho Ito notes, the game captures the realistic, dry business aspect of player transactions, reminiscent of the MLB. The page includes a screenshot showing a player profile with detailed stats like stamina, control, ball speed, and era, illustrating the depth of player representation. Another screenshot highlights the game's simulation extends to developing team merchandise like signed baseballs for revenue, adding another layer to the managerial experience. Pancho Ito expresses his surprise and satisfaction with the game's realism,
particularly the draft conference scene where players are selected and his own recorded commentary is featured. He feels the game offers a comprehensive look into the life of a general manager, covering scouting, drafting, trades, and even the financial aspects of running a team. The game is praised for allowing players to experience the multifaceted challenges of baseball management, from team building to the business side, making it a robust simulation recommended for baseball fans.
This page serves as an exciting introduction to the latest and upcoming SEGA Saturn game releases, featuring dynamic headlines and illustrations of 3 anime-style girls in school uniforms. The page is designed to help readers plan their game purchases by highlighting new titles that are already out and anticipating others that are coming soon. It previews games that have just hit the market, including the unique train simulation game Densha de Go, the simulation game Find Love 2, the arcade shooter Soul Divide, and the puzzle game Curio Tase, directing readers to pages 115 through 117 for more details on these releases. Furthermore, the page gives a sneak peek at highly anticipated titles arriving soon. This list includes the acclaimed RPG Suikoden, the horse racing simulation Winning Post 3, the arcade compilation Wonder 3/Arcade Gears, and the fighting game Savaki, among others. These upcoming titles are covered starting from page 118, offering gamers a look ahead at the exciting lineup for the Sega Saturn console. The layout clearly indicates this is the start of a major feature on new software.
This page dives into the highly anticipated train driving simulation, Densha de Go, now arriving on Sega Saturn after its arcade success. It highlights the game's immersive experience, putting you in the driver's seat to navigate routes, adhering to signals and speed limits, while aiming for precise stops at stations within the time limit. The game emphasizes the technical challenge of mastering braking to land exactly at the platform marker, a key aspect for scoring well. The visuals, featuring a realistic driver's perspective and iconic real-world routes like the Sanyin, Tokaido, Keihin-Tohoku, and Yamanote lines, are noted as appealing to train enthusiasts. The page explains key gameplay mechanics, such as starting the train, managing acceleration, reacting to signals and gradients, and the crucial process of controlled braking. To enhance the authentic feel of the arcade experience, a dedicated special controller is being released for 5,800 yen, mimicking the train's mascon and brake levers. This controller is presented as essential for players seeking the most realistic operation. The overall tone suggests the game offers a unique, quiet intensity not found in other titles. This page focuses on Find Love 2, transitioning from its arcade puzzle game roots to become a full-fledged dating simulation on the Saturn. The game features 10 characters, chosen based on enthusiastic fan demand and a popular vote, with development reportedly progressing well. The key visual highlights the top characters from the vote: Kyoko Ikusawa as the Grand Prix winner, and Tomomi Yoshino and Minako Sawada as runners-up. Smaller images showcase several other characters that will appear in the game. The page suggests players will get to know the characters' true personalities in this simulation format and find love with the charming girls. Ahead of the main game's planned summer release, a fan disc titled Find Love 2, the prologue, is set for release on May 21st, offering players a chance to meet the 10 girls' smiles. It's presented as a content-rich fan disc, limited to 30,000 copies. Additionally, there's a promotion for merchandise like keychains and trading cards related to the game. This page highlights 2 upcoming Sega Saturn titles. First up is Solvalus, an action RPG from Ultron. Rated at 70% complete, it promises a mix of card-collecting fun and dungeon exploration tension across 100 floors. Players take on dynamic dungeons that change shape with each entry, battling monsters and traps while gathering over 800 types of cards that contain powerful magic and even monster summoning abilities. The game also features a duel mode to aim for high rankings. The visuals showcase the 3D dungeon environments, card interface, and character art for the male and female protagonists. Below that is Kariotos, an exhilarating 3D action game from Masudaya, rated at 85% complete. This is described as a simple, indiscriminate kicking game, where players battle up to 4 characters on stages with various themes, aiming to kick each other off the stage to be the last one standing. There are a total of 21 characters, each possessing unique abilities and attacks. The page features screenshots of the frantic 3D battles on stages ranging from ice to the sky, and highlights the simple controls and luxurious voice casts. It looks like a fun, chaotic party game. This page features the classic RPG Suikoden from Konami. The focus is placed heavily on the game's scenario, highlighting the protagonist's unique journey from being raised within the Empire as the general's son to joining the Liberation Army and fighting for justice. The artwork showcases the main character, Tyr McDowell, surrounded by several of his companions, hinting at the vast cast of characters the game is known for. The article touches upon the depth of the story, describing it as a coming-of-age tale and a human drama about forming and leading an army, filled with challenges, character interactions, and humor. Gameplay points are illustrated with screenshots, showing the different attack ranges available to characters, close, mid, and long distance, and the ability to upgrade weapons at a blacksmith. The game is listed as an RPG developed by Konami, with a high completion rate of 97%. It was released on April 30th for 3,800 yen, and is a single-player experience recommended for all ages. The text notes the game's release was delayed but is now available at a surprisingly low price, encouraging players of the original PlayStation version and Saturn users to look forward to this greatly upgraded version. It emphasizes paying attention to the story flow that goes beyond simple monster hunting. Suikoden's page focuses on the Liberation Army's story and gameplay. The narrative follows the protagonist's escape, joining the Liberation Army, and being sheltered by Odessa. After Odessa's death, the protagonist leads the army, establishing a base. The army forges alliances, culminating in a siege. The game features 3 battle types: standard party battles, strategic duels, and large-scale war battles, emphasizing tactical choices and ally utilization. The headquarters grows as players recruit allies, unlocking new facilities. The upcoming game's release is imminent, and features a detailed character illustration and screenshots showcasing battles and castle interiors. This page features an interview with the developers at KCE Sapporo, the team behind the SEGA Saturn port of Suikoden. Pictured are the president, Mr. Hirota, and development manager, Mr. Nakamura. The developers discuss their collaboration with the original PlayStation team, aiming for a faithful port while adding significant new content. Key enhancements for the Saturn version are highlighted, including completely remade minigames with a focus on adding more gambling elements, a brand new opening movie crafted by the port team, and revised magic effects tailored to the Saturn hardware. They also discuss expanding the headquarters, turning it into a treasure trove of added elements. This includes activities like raising cats and the addition of a coliseum, providing more engagement for the player when returning to base. The page includes screenshots showcasing the standard party battle system and one of the renewed mini-games, specifically the dice game. The developers note slight color variations in characters compared to the PlayStation version, but emphasize the vibrant quality of the graphics. This interview gives great insight into the effort put into making the Saturn version a desirable option, even for those who played the original. This page continues the interview about the SEGA Saturn port of Suikoden. The discussion follows on from the previous page, highlighting further additions to the headquarters beyond just K-tracing and baths, mentioning character dialogue changing during key events, a detail PS players might appreciate. The team notes the Saturn version's development is nearing completion, despite challenges faced during production. Hiroshi Onoguchi, the development department designer, is featured, stating this is his first RPG project, something he's always wanted to do. He talks about preserving Suikoden's unique rhythm and tempo, explaining that while the PS version was fast-paced, the Saturn version aims for immersion through events. He views the game's relatively lower difficulty as a positive trait, contributing to this rhythm. A major challenge was balancing the game with its massive cast of 108 characters and various battle types, including standard battles, war events, and duels. Adjusting the graphics and colors to match the PS version seamlessly also required significant effort. The page includes screenshots of a war event showing Imperial versus Liberation armies, the headquarters where non-party members wait and various facilities exist, and a screen showcasing one of the 108 characters with dialogue, specifically Cleo. These images underscore the game's diverse content and large roster. This page dives into the world of Winning Post 3, the horse racing simulation game by Koei on the SEGA Saturn. It's not just about buying betting tickets and watching races. The game focuses on the deep drama of horse racing, centered around building a legacy. The core concept is establishing your own sire line, which means breeding and raising horses that become successful sires, passing down their bloodlines, and creating a famous lineage named after them. The game highlights the journey from a horse being born on your farm to potentially winning major races like the Derby, facing rivals, and the impact of bloodlines. Winning Post 3 is presented as a simulation game where you aim to develop your own breeding program. Achieving success with your horses makes them highly sought after for breeding, helping you expand your sire line across the racing world. world. The page shows various screenshots, including intense race moments, menu screens for managing your farm and bloodlines, and even interactions with characters who comment on your horses. A key feature is the ability to select from a roster of famous real-life Japanese racehorses to use as sires in your game, like Oguricap and Tokai Teo, among many others. The page emphasizes the long-term appeal of the game through its detailed breeding system and the goal of creating a lasting dynasty in the world of horse racing. This page elaborates on key elements of winning Post 3. Emphasizing that success isn't achieved alone, it highlights the crucial role of various staff members, including the secretary, farm manager, jockey, trainer, and advisor, whose support and advice are vital for progression, even automating aspects for newcomers. A unique feature discussed is the ability to interact with foals directly from the player's office window, allowing players to pat and feed them carrots or apples, deepening the connection with their young horses. The page reinforces the primary goal of producing strong horses, essential for winning major races and building the sire line mentioned on the previous page. While horses can be bought, breeding is the fundamental path to creating champions, influenced by factors like bloodline compatibility and traits. Weekday commands focus on strategic decisions like setting race schedules, breeding plans, and managing production, buying/selling horses, with the trainer handling the detailed training. Race days involve going to the track to watch or skip races and even place bets. Finally, the concept of overseas expeditions is introduced as a strategy to gain fame and expand opportunities, particularly for horses suited to dirt races where options in Japan may be limited. The overall narrative is one of pursuing the dream of owning powerful horses and achieving victory. This page introduces the SEGA Saturn title, Princess Quest, highlighting its imminent release. The main focus is on the mystery surrounding a stolen treasure, the jewel, from the Dilma Kingdom, and the protagonist, Willow, a swordsman investigating the case. The page features character art of Willow in both male and female forms, as well as screenshots showing the game's top-down exploration view. A key mechanic discussed is Willow's unique ability to freely change gender by taking on the power of a certain creature. This transformation is crucial for gathering information, as different people may provide different testimonies depending on whether Willow is male or female. The game includes a investigation notebook feature where players can trigger this gender change, often depicted with a beautiful transformation sequence. The game is described as a mystery touch RPG, featuring 5 cute princesses and the cool swordsman Willow. The introduction shifts from previous coverage to focus on the investigation methods, suggesting players will need to utilize the gender change effectively to uncover the truth. Release information is present, noting a release date of March 19th, and prices for both limited and standard editions. It also mentions the character designs by Gen Sugiyama and over 20 voice actors. The game is recommended for all ages and supports one-player gameplay. This page continues the look at Princess Quest, highlighting that it's coming soon to the SEGA Saturn. It delves into the game's mechanics, starting with exploration of the 3D dungeons like the Spirit Palace, where enemies roam. Unlike traditional RPGs, there's no level or experience point system. Character parameters improve by equipping items and gear found in the world. Staying alive is crucial, as running out of health means game over, so frequent saving and recovery are vital. You can purchase recovery items and other upgrades in shops. A key aspect is how the gender-changing mechanic impacts events. The page specifically points out a pool event that plays out differently depending on whether you're playing as male Willow or female Willow, hinting at varied character interactions based on your form. Investigation is also crucial, requiring you to thoroughly question people throughout the town and revisiting areas, utilizing the gender change to potentially unlock new information or trigger optional service events. The plot appears to involve investigating the suspicious actions of the princesses, leading you to track down figures like Gerard and Princess Millefleur. This pursuit eventually brings you into conflict with a mysterious woman in a black robe, who you must fight to progress the investigation. This page highlights the upcoming simulation game Nile, where you take on the role of the pharaoh of ancient Egypt. The goal is to unify surrounding nations and develop Egypt into a dominant world power by managing 3 key elements: economy, civilization, and military, while also defending against invasions. Gameplay centers on developing the capital city, Memphis. Initially, you must focus on establishing basic infrastructure to stabilize the economy, with facilities like the trading post being crucial for increasing prosperity. Beyond economic stability, You must advance Egypt's civilization by developing education and technology. Building schools raises the education level, and investing funds into them improves their effectiveness. Technology is advanced through factories, specifically craft factories and weapon factories, with increased funding leading to faster technological gains. A unique mechanic mentioned is the generation change for important figures like generals and the pharaoh, which affects a resource called royal spring. Depleting this resource leads to a game over, adding a strategic layer to managing your key personnel. The game is presented as a deep simulation experience from Victor Interactive Software and Packensoft, priced at 6,800 yen, released on March 5th, and suitable for all ages. The producer describes it as a simulation masterpiece, years in the making, highly recommended for fans of the genre. The next page continues the in-depth look at Nile, focusing on key management aspects. It reiterates the importance of city development, explaining that building infrastructure like roads and waterways is crucial for population growth and economic stimulation, with negative national finances leading to a game over. A critical maintenance point is highlighted. Buildings have durability and require periodic repair costs to prevent decay. The game also features famous sites, which improve citizen happiness and influence the pharaoh's popularity, offering a way to gauge the city's well-being. The emphasis then shifts to military strength. The page details the facilities necessary for a strong army: barracks to raise troops, weapon factories to arm them, command posts to increase the number of available generals, and training centers to cultivate talented leaders. It stresses that building military power is expensive but vital for defense against invasions and eventual unification efforts. The combat system is described as a real-time simulation, where strategic unit movement and initial formations are paramount, and the ability of your general significantly impacts the outcome. A crucial tactic highlighted is targeting the enemy general, as defeating them can quickly turn the tide of battle. This page showcases the upcoming SEGA Saturn release of Wonder 3, Three Wonders, a fantastic collection bringing together 3 classic Capcom arcade titles. This compilation offers incredible value by packing action, shooting, and puzzle games all onto one disc. The spotlight is primarily on Midnight Wanderers, Quest for the Chariot, a side-scrolling action-adventure. Here, you'll guide characters like Lou on a quest for the legendary chariot, which grants flight. You'll battle foes using various weapons like knives and arrows, each with power-ups, and can even gain options that assist your attacks. The game features diverse enemies and challenging giant bosses, promising satisfying action. It also highlights the fun of co-op play, whether working together or competing for items. A humorous detail mentions Lou's outfit changing when hit, a nod to Capcom's Ghouls on Ghosts series, and notes that Lou also appears in another popular fighting game, referencing Marvel vs. Capcom 2. The collection also includes the shooting game Chariot, Forging the Chariot, and the puzzle game Don't Pull, rounding out the genre variety. The Saturn port is handled by Xeng Entertainment and was set for release on March 5th, priced at 5,800 yen. It's classified as a variety title and recommended for all ages. This is a must-have for fans of classic arcade experiences. This page explores 2 games from the SEGA Saturn's Three Wonders collection: Chariot, Forging the Chariot, and Don't Pull. Chariot is a vertical space shooter where players battle enemies based on celestial bodies, with a focus on powerful shots and maximizing firepower. Don't Pull is a puzzle game starring Don and Pull, who clear stages by strategically hitting enemies with blocks. High scores are earned by eliminating multiple enemies at once, and the 2-player mode adds a chaotic element where players can inadvertently eliminate each other. Bonus points are awarded for aligning star blocks. The page also provides secret techniques. In Midnight Wanderers, players can start with enhanced options using button codes. Chariot offers shot customization through pause menu commands. Don't Pull features a stage select option. These secrets provide a competitive edge or allow players to skip ahead. This page introduces the upcoming SEGA Saturn release, Tour Party Refrain, described as a simulation plus table game hybrid. The main visual features several anime-style characters, giving a glimpse of the game's aesthetic. An interesting reveal here is the method for unlocking the game's hidden characters right from the start. Out of the 20 potential partners, only 16 are initially available. The page explains that the remaining 4 hidden characters can be unlocked by inputting a specific command sequence on the title screen before starting a new game. This is a neat early tip that lets players access the full roster which is shown in the included character selection screenshots. Furthermore, the page highlights the obstacle characters that will interfere with gameplay in the board game sections. These characters appear at the start of the day and can cause problems, such as forcing you into a date with a partner you are currently trying to interact with, effectively blocking your progress. The page offers advice, suggesting that interacting with a rival character might be a way to get rid of the obstacle. Profiles of several obstacle characters are shown, including types like a stalker, hellwoman, an old man, Oyaji, a kid, Okosama, an angel, and a devil, each with their unique look. It seems these characters add a layer of unpredictable challenge to the game's progression. This page dives deeper into the simulation/board game hybrid tour party refrain by introducing 4 distinct characters. The large vertical text sets the tone, implying these individuals are anything but ordinary. As hinted previously, these are indeed the game's hidden characters, each unlockable from the start by inputting a specific command sequence shown below their profiles. You'll find profiles for 4 unique personalities. There's Shiru Hibiki, a 24-year-old guitar-slinging hero of justice. Next is Nao Agano, a 16-year-old who's described as strong-willed, proud, and a bit of a shy, devilish type. We also see Sei Sazanami, a mysterious 19-year-old who can see things others can't. Finally, there's Bungo Tone, a 28-year-old martial artist dedicated to vengeance. Each character has a brief description highlighting their traits, and a unique command input required to add them to your roster from the title screen. This confirms how players can get access to the full cast from the get-go, adding significant replayability and strategic options right away. Rexure, a fighting game for the SEGA Saturn, emphasizes skillful striking. Its core mechanic is the Savaki system, allowing players to parry or deflect attacks with precise timing, creating openings for offensive maneuvers. The game features 7 fighting styles, including karate and boxing, and 14 characters, each style represented by 2 fighters. The page offers strategic advice for both computer and player versus player matches. Against the computer, mastering your character and the Savaki system are key. In versus matches, anticipate and counter your opponent's Savaki attempts, utilizing feints and powerful combos. Screenshots showcase intense combat, and the character selection screen, developed by Microcabin, Rexure provided a unique gameplay experience with its emphasis on defensive strategy. This page dives into the world of Chaos Seed, Feng Shui Chronicle, focusing on cave design and character features. The main section, Recommendation for Cave Design, provides strategic advice on utilizing Feng Shui principles within the game's dungeon building mechanics. It highlights how careful planning, incorporating elemental requirements like fire, wood, earth, water, and metal, is crucial for effective cave layouts and generating resources or specific monster types like the Genbu God Cave and Black God Cave. The guide even includes a sample map layout illustrating room connections and elemental needs. The Feng Shui picture book section introduces some of the game's characters, featuring illustrations and brief notes. It highlights the popularity of characters like Ling Ling Lan, commenting on their appeal. The page also features fan contributions, showcasing letters and artwork from players, reflecting the game's engagement with its community. The total number of fan contributions received is noted as 73. This page serves as a guide for players looking to optimize their gameplay through smart cave design and also connects with the fanbase by featuring their submissions. This page serves as the cover for a comprehensive strategy guide section dedicated to recently released SEGA Saturn titles. Titled Complete Strategy Guide and featuring the SEGA Saturn logo prominently, the page showcases dynamic artwork of 2 characters, a determined-looking male character with a headband and a striking female character with red hair, both in futuristic attire, hinting at the action-packed nature of some of the featured games. The guide promises a thorough breakdown of key points and packed data for several notable SEGA Saturn games. The list of titles covered includes fan favorites, like the high-speed action platformer Burning Rangers, the epic RPG Panzer Dragoon Saga, the visual novel Dukoku Soshite, and the classic JRPG, The Legend of Heroes, A Tear of Vermilion. It also features sports simulation with Let's Make a Pro Baseball Team, the deep visual novel Mashi, Unmei no Crossroads, the dating sim/RPG Eternal Melody second album, the intense arcade shooter battle Garega, and the adventure title Stanchi Bay Adventure,
Doki Doki Heart Nightmare. This section is positioned as an essential resource for players looking to master these diverse Sega Saturn experiences. This page is part of the complete strategy guide section for Burning Rangers, highlighting some exciting secrets within the game. It reveals that among the rescuers you can save after clearing the game, there's an unexpected appearance. The popular manga artist, Ami Shibata. Their character model is unique. They use their own voice for rescue calls, and their reactions are distinct. The page also notes that manager Nakahiro is another surprising rescuer you can find. Furthermore, the guide delves into the identity of the mysterious green-haired girl, Ilya Klein, who appears briefly in the game's opening. She is a 16-year-old girl central to the events from Mission 2 onwards, with her true identity being revealed in the final mission. Illustrations of both Ami Shibata's character design and Ilya Klein are featured. There's even a short interview snippet with Ami Shibata, discussing the fun collaboration and mentioning that secret illustrations not used in the game might be released in the future. It's clear there are fun surprises hidden away for players to discover in Burning Rangers. This page continues the complete strategy guide for Burning Rangers, bridging the gap between Mission 2 and the challenging third mission, Gravity Zero, set in the space colony Firebird. Following the events of Mission 2, where the team rescued personnel from a marine facility and uncovered clues about the incident's true cause, the Burning Rangers are dispatched to space. The guide provides context for the third mission, explaining that the primary objective is rescuing workers stranded within the abandoned colony. While the number of rescue targets is manageable, the mission presents significant difficulty due to intricate switch puzzles that control progression and dynamically collapsing sections of the environment. Key strategies highlighted include acclimatizing to the game's unique zero-gravity controls right at the start of the mission, as movement becomes exceptionally tricky. The guide also stresses the importance of carefully observing the relationships between switches, as activating one can open a path elsewhere, sometimes requiring backtracking. Specific dangers like outer walls collapsing are noted, advising players to listen for audio cues to know when to react, such as jumping. The page features screenshots showing the team's briefing for the mission and examples of the zero-gravity gameplay and switch-activated pathways players will encounter. Mission 3 in Burning Rangers presents unique challenges. Surviving collapsing walls demands opposite directional key presses and rapid jumping. Players face airborne hatbees, quick and unpredictable, and patrolling Gand robots, best dealt with using charged shots or rear attacks. The mission includes an icoid card puzzle with 4 doors. The activation order of the switches is critical to avoid trapping the rescue target. A wire mesh area provides a maze leading to the BO3 gate, opening the way to the mission's second half. Helpful tips include using jump charge shots for speed, briefly standing on flames, and ensuring inbox space to prevent lost mail from rescued civilians. This page focuses on a pivotal battle sequence in a Kazel Panzer Dragoon RPG against Grig Orig and the Imperial Fleet. Edge, after defeating other foes, faces the devastating Emperor's cannon which obliterates the city of Zoa. This triggers a fight against the fleet, with strategies focusing on targeting weaker units like Jakau and Kramen, and utilizing berserk attacks, especially against Varuna-class ships. The guide stresses targeting Grig Orig's exhaust port with powerful berserk attacks after damaging it. A particularly tough fight against Sostov's Soma machine requires aggressive berserk attacks. The page also analyzes Kramen's cryptic words to Edge, tasking him to protect the Empress. This moment sets the stage for Edge's journey into the tower, promising significant plot revelations about the ancient world and its secrets. This page dives into some endgame secrets in Panzer Dragoon Saga, specifically focusing on collecting the D units. Gathering all 12 D units is crucial because it allows your dragon to evolve beyond its normal limits into the ultimate, most powerful form, the Light Wing. This transformation also maximizes your laser rank, enabling you to destroy objects previously invulnerable, like structures at the excavation site or the shipwreck in the Gadaril Desert. The page provides a guide on where to find each D unit. There's also a section recommending that players revisit the Uruk area after the dragon's transformation. Since the Light Wing form can destroy previously indestructible item boxes, Uruk becomes a vital spot to acquire powerful combat and recovery items you couldn't get before. Finally, the guide highlights the Bioweapon Research Lab as an extremely important location. It's described as holding many messages and fascinating information about the game's lore, including the purpose of the DRE units, Adrazel's nature, and the history of the dragon's development. This area is essential for players wanting to understand the core mysteries of the story. The ultimate form, the Light Wing,
is pictured and described as a being transcending mere life, like a futuristic combat machine with all abilities significantly boosted, requiring no type selection. It's the strongest form, a culmination of ancient technology, and players are encouraged to look forward to achieving it. The next page provides a complete strategy guide for the trap adventure game Dukoku Soshite. It focuses on the perilous situation the girls find themselves in after activating the elevator, specifically detailing the exploration of the second and third floors. The guide warns that danger is imminent, and navigating the various events and traps is critical, as failure can lead to fatal outcomes. The walkthrough outlines the initial steps, including reaching the second floor, and then figuring out how to repair the elevator, which is necessary for further progress. A crucial item for this, the silver key, is highlighted, described as essential for a main scenario event. The page then introduces the 3 key rooms accessible from the second floor lobby: the atelier, the storeroom, and the piranha room. Each room is briefly described, noting the presence of items or significant events. The atelier is a location for important plot points. The storeroom contains a locker and puzzle hints, and the piranha room holds items required to unlock doors. The guide stresses the vital importance of meticulously searching these areas for items necessary to ensure the survival of the girls later in the game. Character CGS depicting tense moments, such as artificial respiration, and one of the girls, Chisa, are displayed alongside an isometric map of the area and images of crucial items and room interiors. This page provides a detailed strategy for accessing and exploring the hidden third floor in Dukoku Soshite, a crucial area despite its small size. It highlights that reaching this floor requires locating one of 2 staircases, the second of which is hidden within another room, not the main staircase near the elevator. The guide covers overcoming specific obstacles, such as a door without a conventional keyhole, requiring a coin to open using a small groove on the doorknob. It describes key rooms like the machine room, where repairing the elevator is the primary goal, and notes that exploring here can reveal hidden items and trigger special events. There's also mention of a mysterious locked room, which players can only view from the outside, and the rooftop back room, a seemingly abandoned area holding secrets. Players are advised on essential items obtainable on the second and third floors, including tools like pliers and rope, and plot-critical items like a card key needed for later progression. The guide also touches on solving puzzles like an electronic lock that requires a numerical input, and how to deal with a peculiar stopgap door. A significant event detailed is the rescue of Nishiro after she is affected by chemicals. The guide shows CGS related to this scene, indicating it's a critical moment where the protagonist must help her recover, including removing her contaminated uniform. The advice stresses thorough searching and proper item use to navigate these challenges and advance the story. This guide outlines key events on the first and second floors of the game. On the first floor, choosing the elevator leads to Marie, requiring a floppy disk, and then Itsumi, and possibly Chisa's. The stairs route involves a panicked Tanabe, and then Itsumi, and potentially Chisa. The floppy disk unlocks a chemistry puzzle in the materials room, offering a key upon successful completion. A major event involves rescuing Norma from a flooding bathroom. Players must choose whether to stop the water or remove the board first, using tools like pliers, a valve handle, and a crowbar. On the second floor, attempting to pick up a hand mirror near the teacher results in a comedic encounter where the mirror reflects under her skirt, leading to her anger. The guide is accompanied by character artwork and screenshots of relevant scenes. The next page of the Mystere. The third light guide focuses on the intertwined paths of Suzerain, Itsumi, and Chisa following the events involving Norma. It details the crucial choices and their consequences, starting with what happens after rescuing Norma from the bathroom. Section 8 shows taking the ill Norma to Marie, where her condition is discussed. Section 9 describes Norma's distressed calls for Suzerain, prompting a search for her. Players then face a choice: go with Suzerain or proceed alone. This decision is pivotal, leading to different revelations about Suzerain's character and motivations, as well as influencing subsequent events. A separate box notes the outcome if Norma wasn't saved, where Suzerain reacts to the situation and rushes off. Section 11 explores the separate actions of the 3 girls. Depending on whether you partner with Suzerain, Itsumi, Chisa, or go alone, the narrative branches significantly. The guide points out specific events like finding an important coin, encountering Itsumi and Chisa near the preparation room door, and meeting a puppy by the stairs,
with unique dialogue and reactions occurring based on who you are with. This part of the game emphasizes exploration and interaction to uncover the truth behind their mysterious actions. This page dives into the world of The Legend of Heroes IV, a tier of Vermilion on SEGA Saturn, guiding players through a key part of the journey. The walkthrough covers progression through areas like the Forest of Silence, Shiful, Shiful's Shaline, Grace Mountain, leading to the final destination on this part of the journey, Oldos. It details how to find the elusive sage in Shiful, a crucial step to move forward. A major challenge highlighted is the confrontation with the illusionist Kajim at Shiful's Shaline, where the party initially suffers a defeat. However, the guide then outlines the strategy for a rematch, emphasizing the importance of borrowing Morrison's power to counter Kajim's illusions, and focusing magic attacks with Chris, while Julio and Goose press the offensive. There's also a fun mini-event to look out for, at the inn in Shiful, involving Goose. The page includes a look at one of the enemies, the giant bat, noting its unique ultrasonic attack and the rewards for defeating it. Finally, it describes Old Tristados, the sacred land of magic and a major pilgrimage destination, highlighting its history and significance within the world. This guide for The Legend of Heroes IV, a tier of Vermilion, focuses on lifting Kajim's curse from Chris and Goose, beginning in Oldos. The quest involves finding Drive Fierro near the waterway and then seeking help from Liz and Fuente. Key locations include Oldos, North Heat Street, and various forests. The Forest of Illusion, a confusing area, requires finding a switch-like monument to progress. Inside resides the powerful Argress. The guide provides a unique gameplay tip for Banban, whose equipment upgrades using dropped items like fur and false teeth. Oldos itself is significant, with the Grand Cathedral holding the Shaline of the Sky. Players must visit 4 other Shalines first. The guide also mentions the manageable wolf enemies on North Heat Street and the mysterious Wave of Loire, a significant term heard in Oldos. This page delves into the country of Fuente in The Legend of Heroes 1/5, a tier of Vermilion, focusing on the quest to resolve the escalating conflict between the brother kings of the North and South. The guide presents a clear action chart, outlining the steps players must take, starting from Louise's checkpoint, moving through Hulk and Heisen, utilizing Kimono Road and Liz's house as intermediaries, and navigating the crucial North-South Highway leading to Hulk Fort and Busa Checkpoint. Key events detailed include meeting the troubled King Karak in Hulk, who is facing internal issues possibly related to Bellart, and encountering the indecisive King Eniston in Heisen, where plans to rescue the Queen are underway. A particularly creative section highlights a bandit operation on the North-South Highway, a strategic maneuver to overcome a blockade. Beyond the main quest, there's a tip about a mini-event involving a gatekeeper near King Karak's house. The page also provides geographical and historical context for Fuente, describing its central lake, the mountainous north centered around Heisen, the fertile southern plains near Hulk, and the challenging highway connecting them. It mentions notable figures like the pharmacist Liz, and references a past prophecy and the White Witch. Finally, there's a guide entry for the magic rat enemy, noting its use of magic and vulnerability for characters with low magic resistance. The page is richly illustrated with a map, screenshots of gameplay, and character portraits. This guide details events in Hulkfort from The Legend of Heroes IV, a tier of Vermilion. It provides a walkthrough to rescue the Queen, including floor maps, enemy encounters, and strategies for navigating the fort, like avoiding guards and confronting Bellart. The guide recommends exploring the weapons storage and ultimately reaching the Queen's room on the 2nd floor. The encounter with the magic snake is also covered, advising the use of earth magic to counter its poison and paralysis attacks. Outside the fort, the guide suggests exploring the Fuentari region, including Rupina's Lake and the cities of Heisen and Hulk. It recommends visiting Liz's house to meet his daughter Fiery and enjoy harp tea. Finally, the page includes a promotional note about a phone card giveaway and winners of signed voice actor scripts. This page dives into the baseball simulation game, Let's Make a Pro Baseball Team! Ooh! Offering a comprehensive comparison of 2 distinct playstyles during the crucial first year. The article focuses on the early season Open League results in March, analyzing how different approaches impact team performance and finances. The 2 styles examined are the management-focused style, which prioritizes saving money and investing in business ventures, and the player development-focused style, which spends heavily on training facilities and acquiring new talent.
Both playthroughs start with the same conditions, managing the popular Giants team based in Chiba City. The comparison highlights the initial results, showing the management style achieving a 44 record in the Open League, while focusing on business expansion, like adding stores and parking. The development style finishes 35, investing heavily in training equipment and facilities, like a massage room and pitching machine. The article also briefly mentions key player and coach changes made in each scenario and touches on the trade outcomes. While the data is influenced by random events, it serves as a guide to understand the early game progression under different strategic philosophies. This page continues the deep dive into the baseball simulation game, Let's Make a Pro Baseball Team. Following the two distinct management styles from the previous month's analysis through April, May, and June, the management-focused style, aiming for a stingy pennant start, experienced a painful April opener with an early losing streak, and finished the month in last place despite acquiring training equipment and making trades. May brought a stroke of luck with temporary income, but the team still struggled, plagued by bullpen issues and come-from-behind losses. By June, the team remained stuck in last place, with another long losing streak highlighting the risk of the reverse magic number being lit. Meanwhile, the player development-focused style attempted a strong start, but was hit by a devastating 7-game losing streak in late April, also dropping to last place after making significant trades. May was even worse, dominated by a nightmare 9-game losing streak that effectively ended their pennant hopes. Despite the poor performance, this strategy focused on investment, installing a meeting room, and purchasing advanced training machines. By June, the attitude shifted to resignation for the current season, prioritizing saving for the next year while continuing training efforts, managing to reach a target of 20 wins and avoiding a potential game over. Across these 3 months, both strategies faced significant challenges and losing streaks, illustrating the difficulty of the game's early phase, though the development-focused approach showed a willingness to invest heavily despite immediate results. This page continues the deep dive into the baseball simulation game, Let's Make a Pro Baseball Team. Following the distinct management strategies into the midseason, the management-focused style successfully reached their 20-win target in July and made significant trades, acquiring players like Yoshida and Hiraoka while releasing others. However, August brought struggles and a key injury to pitcher Funaki, confirming the team's last-place position. By September, with few games left and confirmed in last place, attendance dropped significantly, impacting income. The focus shifted entirely to saving money for the following season, resulting in cash reserves exceeding 2 billion yen. Meanwhile, the player development-focused style also met their win target in July, but suffered frustratingly large margin losses. August saw a key injury to pitcher Ryota, and the team continued to struggle, unable to close the gap with the 5th place team. September showed signs of improvement, with better team form and increasing attendance, and while still losing games, they were often close matchups rather than blowouts, suggesting luck or clutch performance was a factor. Screenshots on the page highlight moments like the All-Star Game, player injury reports, and owner feedback, illustrating key events within the game simulation. Both teams ended up near the bottom of the standings by September, but the difference in their financial status and future outlook based on their contrasting investment strategies is clearly shown. The article analyzes the final month of a baseball simulation game, comparing two management styles. The management-focused approach, hampered by few home games, ended with a net loss but substantial cash reserves, over 2 billion yen, emphasizing budget planning. The player development-focused style saw outfielder Hideki Matsui win 2 titles, but also faced a monthly loss and finished with less cash, around 1.1 billion yen. Both teams placed 6th, with similar records. The article highlights that the player development style prioritized player growth, potentially offering stronger long-term prospects despite a lower cash balance. The management style, while financially stable, might hinder rapid team improvement. The article also includes tips on efficient team goods development and a uniform customization trick, supported by screenshots of financial data and player statistics. This page dives into the SEGA Saturn sound novel, Machi, offering a thorough guide focusing on the end of Day 3 for several characters. It highlights the conclusion of the story arcs for Ushio and Baba, teasing their fates. The page then details various bad end scenarios that can occur for different protagonists on this pivotal day. You'll see sections dedicated to characters like Ushio Masami, Shinoda Tadashi, Takamine Takashi, and Ichikawa Fumiyasu. For each, the page lists the specific bad end number, the time it occurs,
and a brief description of the content and the tragic outcomes. Screenshots accompany each entry, showing key moments like Ushio being attacked, Shinoda surrounded by a gang, Takashi facing deportation, and Ichikawa dealing with a disturbing phone call, even featuring a rather shocking image of a bloody hand. The text elaborates slightly on the circumstances leading to each bad end, explaining why the characters found themselves in these unfortunate situations, often due to poor decisions or unavoidable circumstances within the narrative. There's also a hint about a follow-up on a pink bookmark story, suggesting multiple intertwined plotlines in this Chunsoft title. It's clear these bad endings are grim, showing the potential consequences of the choices made within the game's story. This page delves further into the day. 3 conclusions in Machi. Silent Oblivion. It details the various paths and potential bad ends for several more characters. We see the potential tragic outcomes for Madobe Keita, including endings numbered 50 and 55, relating to his search and eventual attempt to escape capture via a truck. Amemiya Keima's journey can lead to the devastating Shibuya Disappears. Bad ends 46 and 47, stemming from a failure to correctly handle a bomb linked to the character Shiori, resulting in widespread destruction. Characters like Tobisawa Yuhei and Hosoi Miko are noted as having no bad ends on this particular day, indicating their stories continue past this point, although Yuhei faces a shock involving Yakuza and Miko grapples with personal issues, including weight and phone calls. Adding a unique element, the page highlights the game's pink bookmark feature, which introduces a 9th protagonist, Aomushi. This storyline is presented entirely in an anime style, a stark contrast to the main live-action segments. Described as a deep parody, Aomushi's scenario unlocks after completing the main 8 characters, and significantly increases player choices, even incorporating real-world elements like being able to view Purikura photos from extra applicants. It's a fascinating, distinct part of Machi's expansive narrative structure. Actress Sato Arika, known for her role as Ruiko in the game Machi, Silent Oblivion, is featured in a special project spotlighting her love for gaming. An avid gamer, she owns various consoles and seeks SEGA Saturn game recommendations, particularly enjoying fighting games like Virtua Fighter, which she played in arcades before buying the Saturn version and arcade stick. In the interview, Sato Arika discusses filming experiences, including playing a Yakuza daughter and using a sword. She notes the irony of portraying assertive characters, despite not naturally enjoying chasing or being chased. Her interests extend to manga, anime, and musicals, with an upcoming role. The page includes her profile and a list of appearances, along with reader feedback praising her performance as Ruiko. This page features Masuda Yuichi, the actor who played the character Takamine Ryushi in the Sega Saturn sound novel Machi, Silent Oblivion. The article is titled, "More Than a Happy Ending, An Unhappy Ending Suits Me Better," reflecting his perspective on dramatic conclusions. In the interview, Masuda discusses his preference for stage acting and his connection to the intense character of Ryushi, finding the role's internal conflict and themes of familial struggle compelling, despite his own personality being quite different. He expresses satisfaction with the ending of Machi, aligning with his preference for bittersweet rather than strictly happy conclusions in stories. He also touches on his interests, including basketball and mountain biking, and mentions his acting profile and past appearances in television, film, and stage productions. The page includes a brief section of reader feedback and solicits further questions or comments about Masuda Yuichi and his role in Machi from readers, offering a signed gift as an incentive. This continues the magazine's focus on the cast and content of the popular game Machi, Silent Oblivion. This Eternal Fantasy Serenade second album guide for SEGA Saturn focuses on 2 key objectives: gaining citizen support and building relationships with companions. While citizen support is passively earned through successful work assignments, strong relationships require active effort. Players must spend time with companions on holidays and collaborate on tasks, with consistent communication being vital. The guide details the event system, essential for progression and relationship development. These events are character-specific and triggered by various factors, including theme events, trouble events linked to intimacy, holiday visits, and work tasks. A table lists trigger dates for initial theme events. Finally, main events are critical plot points, unrelated to character relationships, that mark significant story progression. Screenshots illustrate gameplay elements, including character stats and event scenes. This page delves into the mechanics of gaining awakening abilities in Eternal Fantasy Serenade second album. These abilities, which empower characters in various situations, are primarily acquired through successful work evaluations. As a gauge fills, characters learn abilities based on their attributes. Basic abilities are highlighted as crucial for combat prowess, not just skills. The page presents detailed tables outlining the order of acquisition and effects for abilities across 6 categories: skill, martial arts, culture, faith, negotiation, and mystery. These abilities grant various benefits, including boosts to stats like strength, agility, HP, MP, and resistances, as well as some offensive and support effects. Additionally, the guide discusses the Sugoroku missions, a board game-like element. While not strictly necessary to finish the game, participating in them is said to deepen the story experience. Understanding the relationship between the power gauge and the roulette wheel is key to success in these missions. A specific trap is also mentioned, where reaching near the goal can send the party back to the start. Players are advised to save beforehand. Screenshots show a character portrait, status gauges, and the interface of the Sugoroku game. This page provides a detailed strategy guide for the classic SEGA Saturn shooter, Battle Garegga. It emphasizes that the game's dynamic rank system is crucial for success. Difficulty increases based on factors like total shots fired, enemy kills, and power-ups collected. The guide stresses the importance of managing this rank, advising players to avoid excessive shooting, and even suggesting strategic self-destruction as a method to lower rank and earn points from debris, especially during boss fights. Scoring mechanics are also highlighted as integral to strategy, with earning points leading to extra lives. The guide points out that continuously collecting medals dropped by enemies yields increasing points, up to 10,000, but missing one resets the value. Breaking parts of bosses is also a significant source of points. The page briefly touches on hidden elements, including special option formations, unlocked by specific item collection sequences, or during 2-player mode. It notes these formations can drastically increase rank, requiring careful use. The table lists the selectable plane options and their base characteristics: normal, speed up, hitbox reduction. Finally, the guide offers a quick breakdown of the 4 playable characters' planes. Gain is a balanced all-rounder whose strong options increase rank. Chitta has quirky homing but a powerful weapon. Miyamoto is fast with effective options for scoring, and Bornam is slow but compensates with a wide shot range. The overall message is that mastery of Battle Garegga goes far beyond simple bullet dodging, requiring a deep understanding of its intricate mechanics. Stage 1, the Valley, in Battle Garegga, is a relatively easy introductory stage, designed to help players prepare for later challenges and gather weapon power-ups. The strategy involves destroying all ground targets for items, and the guide uses a map to indicate key locations. The guide emphasizes specific tactics for the monorail section, advising players to prioritize destroying the lead car and turrets while collecting the option item. It warns against being distracted by a missed monorail, as this can leave players open to the mid-boss from the top. Tank appearances from a hut are also detailed. Destroying all 12 tanks quickly is essential to avoid overwhelming damage during the mid-boss fight. The boss, MD-113 Nose Lavjin, is attacked in distinct phases. First, destroy the tail cover and 1 wing turret. Then focus on the tail turret, wing turret, 2 rotating turrets, and the propellers if time permits. The main target is the giant central turret, destroyed through destruction of gunports, body, base, then main body. Stage 2, Plateau, in Battle Garegga demands increased focus. Scoring opportunities abound. Destroying tanks that crush huts, 2,000 points each, roughly 14 appear, and shooting birds from ruins, 1,000 points each, are key. Collect weapon items while engaging tanks. Be wary of certain enemies. A flying ship at the start offers score badges, but collecting all is risky. Large aircraft fire linear shots. Dodge with left-right movement. A battle machine at the road's end fires explosive bullets. Evade while attacking. Circle the large turret boss initially, then position directly underneath. The boss, SF-4518 Madball, yields high points for destroying parts. Survive 5 attack patterns, then destroy the internal hatches. Bait attacks by moving to the screen edges. Upon death, use invincibility to destroy outer turrets, focusing on the core and central turret. Stage 3 of Battle Garegga, the Factory, is a high-intensity stage, requiring strategic weapon use for maximum score. Be wary of destructible red bullets, and utilize options for autofire if your option rank is low. Destroy rotating turrets while spinning for points, and avoid picking up power-ups prematurely. Tanks on the sides launch guided rockets. Move horizontally to dodge them. At the stage's start, destroy the central floor for score badges. Collect weapon items dropped by turrets, then destroy the floor again. The boss, Street 22 Earth Crises, requires a specific destruction order. Start with front-rotating turrets, then the left and right cockpit turrets. Proceed to the forward-facing turrets, then missile turrets on one side, and finally the hatch turret. Destroy remaining turrets before targeting the core.
This page is a strategy guide for the SEGA Saturn game Super Pachinko Adventure, Doki Doki Love Nightmare. It's aimed at players having trouble romancing the game's various heroines, offering tips on how to win over the 13 different girls. The guide specifically details strategies for characters like Kyoko Misaki, Alice Shinohara, Tsukasa Ichimonji, Sanae Makieda, and Milk. For each girl, it provides information on their typical locations and times throughout the day, offers advice on how to approach conversations and interact with them, and explains the conditions required to trigger important character events. The focus is on tailoring your approach to each girl's unique personality to successfully navigate their romance route and see their events.
This page continues the comprehensive strategy guide for Super Pachinko Adventure, Doki Doki Love Nightmare, focusing on additional heroines and how to successfully win them over. It provides detailed insights into romancing characters like Yuki Mizuno, highlighting her somewhat narcissistic personality and suggesting a gentle approach. For Shiho Katagiri, a wealthy girl seeking more social interaction, the guide recommends proactively engaging her in conversation. Mai Amano, passionate about making handmade pies, is best approached by showing interest in her baking, especially trying her unique DHA-enhanced pies to trigger events. Sayuri Kawamoto, associated with a bunny world, requires understanding her slightly peculiar atmosphere, with events often tied to specific times at her location. Harumi Sasaki's route involves fulfilling a favor related to Miyuri Sakurai's hospital visit and frequently visiting Harumi at the hospital. Miyuri Sakurai herself, recovering in the hospital, needs encouragement and uplifting conversation, with a key event triggered by a specific positive response during the first meeting. Cecil Deeringer, the nun, is best won over by expressing belief in her during a pivotal question in Event 2. Finally, Kotori Ninomiya, who is pursuing the protagonist, is easily approached by visiting her home, leading to automatic events, including a bath scene. The guide emphasizes tailoring your approach to each girl's specific personality and schedule to unlock their unique events and advance their routes. This Grandia strategy guide focuses on the post-game Tower of Temptation challenge. It stresses preparation due to enemy resistance to physical attacks, prioritize magic and SP recovery items, and equip strong weapons like the Mangoshu and Shura's Soul. Yomi's magic on 2 characters is also recommended. Crucially, save outside the tower, as there are no save points within. The guide provides maps and walkthroughs for the entrance and the first 3 floors, covering navigation, elevators, and switch activation. It details item locations, including Zero Series weapons and accessories like the Silent Orb. The guide details connecting routes to unlock complete warp paths and suggests retreating to save if necessary after the 3rd floor. This page continues the hardcore strategy guide for Grandia's post-game Tower of Temptation, picking up after the initial floors. It covers the treacherous climb through floors 5 to 7, detailing how switches and hidden pit traps are the key mechanics on 5 and 6, forcing you to think strategically. On the 7th floor, you'll face colored doors that require finding their corresponding triggers. The guide stresses managing your resources as you ascend. The journey then moves to floors 8 and 9. Floor 9 is notorious for its pit traps, but the guide reveals a crucial tip. Waiting before stepping onto them prevents falling immediately. Your goal is to clear the 9th floor for items, then deliberately fall to the 8th for its treasures, before returning to 9 to find the single pit trap that finally drops you down to the 10th floor. Item lists are provided for these floors, featuring valuable finds like the Devil Boomerang, Essence of Light, and the Spirit Staff, along with gold and skill-boosting seeds. Maps are included for floors 2 through 9, and an outer wall path, showing connections between areas, including the route from floor 4 that leads into this challenging section of the tower. It's serious stuff, and the guide doesn't shy away from recommending a retreat to save if things get too tough. This page cranks up the difficulty, diving headfirst into the final brutal floors of Grandia's Tower of Temptation,
specifically focusing on floors 10 through 12, where you face 3 consecutive boss battles. The guide strongly advises returning to a save point before entering this section, as there's no turning back once you start. Resource management, especially SP and MP, is critical here, suggesting using items like the Golden Potion to recover SP. You'll face the Hammergoyle on the 10th floor, followed by the Slug King on the 11th, and finally, the massive Great Leviathan, waiting on the 12th. The guide lists their HP, and warns that the Great Leviathan battle will be tough. Key strategies involve prioritizing canceling enemy special attacks, although some, like the Slug King's tempting moves or the Great Leviathan's absorption, can potentially be ignored to focus on raw damage. After these trials, the goals section highlights the very top floor, the Dreams Summit, where you're promised 9 treasure chests containing valuable items that you absolutely shouldn't miss. There's also a comprehensive list of obtainable items, including powerful gear like the Zero Series weapons, status-boosting accessories like the Sonic Belt and Fairy Tiara, and recovery items, though the full list is quite extensive. This final push requires serious preparation. This page is a dedicated fan page section for Grandia, kicking off with an apology for the delay in its launch. It features fan letters and artwork from players who have enjoyed the game. Many fans express their love for the game's story, the characters like Justin, Sue, and Fina, and the engaging battle system, mentioning how they were completely engrossed despite not usually playing RPGs. One section offers some critical feedback, pointing out perceived issues with the growth system and the visual presentation, but still acknowledging the impact of the story segments, particularly those involving the Garlisle base. The page also includes a report on a fan event, celebrating the release of the Grandia Arrange album, Vent. Composer Noriyuki Iwadare held an autograph session in Tokyo, which saw over 100 fans attend. The report details how fans entered in groups for a personal experience, including greetings, signatures, questions, and handshakes with Iwadare, describing a warm and satisfying event for everyone involved. Photos from the event are included, showing the signing session and the composer interacting with fans. Finally, the page ends with a call for future fan contributions, inviting players to send in letters, illustrations, and opinions, announcing upcoming features, like a ranking of favorite quotes and characters. This page is the 5th installment of the Amadio Club official fan page section, focusing primarily on trading cards. There's a small, unrelated anecdote about the Saturn magazine office and its talking elevator. The main feature delves into the secret of trading cards, which also serves as an apology from someone named Harabo involved in their production. It introduces 3 key individuals: Masakatsu Yamada from Sagawa Printing, a self-professed expert gamer who handles production; Shigeaki Dozono from Duplex, who designs the cards for titles like Desire and Atelier Marie; and Harabo from Imagineer, who oversees the final product. The text discusses the challenges faced during the production process, including issues with printing and drying ink, and apologies are made for any delays. It highlights the quality improvements seen with the cards for Atelier Marie Volume 2 and Eve the Lost One. A section titled History of Trading Cards briefly touches on the enjoyment of collecting and trading beautiful cards. It then lists Amadio's releases of trading cards tied to their games, including Melty-Lancer, Atelier Marie, Even Burst Error, Melty-Lancer Reinforce, Atelier Marie Volume 2, and Even the Lost One across 1997 and 1998. The page is visually supported by images showing hands, holding a flip phone and trading cards, character art from Atelier Marie, and photos of the featured staff members examining the physical cards during production or review. This page dives back into the Amadio Club section, featuring a humorous chat segment where 2 magazine staff members, Horikiri and Takahashi, lament their busy work lives and the perceived lack of popularity of their segment. Featured is the 5th installment of the Who is Snake contest for the game, Eve the Lost One. Readers are challenged to guess the true identity of the mysterious character Snake from the game. This is announced as the final chance to enter, with the winner receiving a promotional video for Even the Lost One. The discussion on trading card production continues from the previous page, with details about the manual process of creating and packing the premium cards. There's a brief, quickly interrupted hint about the character Snake in Even the Lost One, followed by an apology for the potential spoiler, and an encouragement to buy the cards as they turned out well. Also highlighted is a giveaway for Melty-Lancer Reinforced trading cards, with 1 box being offered as a prize. The page also calls for reader submissions for an upcoming special issue, specifically seeking illustrations,
reports on hidden characters found in Even the Lost One, impressions after clearing the game, and notes on characters that resemble people the readers know. The page includes various character arts from games like Atelier Marie and Eve, alongside photos of staff members and a glimpse of game materials. This page presents the results of a popularity poll for Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner Soul Hackers, featuring both characters and demons from the game. The announcement thanks readers for their votes, noting the difficulty of tallying the results due to the close competition. It highlights that the votes were surprisingly split, especially outside the top few ranks, making the overall best 10 lists quite a task to compile. The poll results are presented separately for characters and demons. In the character section, Spooky takes the overwhelming first place, followed by Mary, Six, Nemissa, Yuichi, Urabe, Lunch, Carol J, Reiho, and Hitomi. The demon poll sees Kufu at the top, with Jack Frost, Pixie, Lean Sidhe, Kudluk, Kurusik, Kartikeya, Mukoi, Gibede, and Metatron filling out the list. Comments from voters are included, explaining why they voted for their favorites, such as Kufu being cool despite his silly personality, or Yuichi's ability to lighten the mood. Atlas also provides brief comments on the results, noting Spooky's popularity and the surprising placement of Hitomi. The page also features a pin-up image of Skullhacker, identified as being from Chiba Prefecture. This page takes us straight to the heart of the arcade scene, with the SEGA Saturn Magazine's special report on the AOU show, held on February 18th and 19th at Makuhari Messe. The AOU show is always a huge deal, the ultimate festival for arcade game fans, and this report covers all the key highlights. Naturally, the Sega booth was the main event, attracting massive crowds eager to see what's new. The buzz was huge for titles like Cyber Troopers Virtualon, Oratorio Tangram, which our reporter Ume, also identified as AM3 R&D's department manager Oguchi, found incredibly deep and dangerous for your wallet, not just flashy. Fighting Vipers 2 was another must-see, with AM2 R&D's Yosuke Kataoka, the leader of the FV2 project, seen at the show. Even Sega Rally 2 pulled in huge numbers, proving the staying power of Sega's Racing King. It wasn't just video games. Sega AM6 showcased an intriguing new metal game featuring blackjack with a hand-action system that senses player movements to simulate real casino play. AM6's department manager Miyamoto was on hand for this innovative title. We also see a glimpse of the Capcom booth featuring some lively Darkstalkers cosplayers. Plus, there's a notable photo of Mr. Kataoka alongside Mr. Shimizu, a former Sega employee now working at Sony Computer Entertainment. A fascinating crossing of paths in the industry. The whole atmosphere was electric, filled with passionate gamers and industry professionals celebrating the best of arcade gaming. The AOU show featured a diverse range of arcade games. Notable highlights included Push Fast, a compact get base lacking its full mechanics, and the addictive pager-based Pager Speed Push Pipopa. Crucially, development of the arcade board for Radiant Silvergun was confirmed. Capcom's booth featured primarily Star Gladiator 2, compensated by cosplayers. Namco showcased a variety of experiences beyond video games, including Techno Drive, Dunhill Bikers, and Family Bowl. Novelty machines like Pretty Studio and an SNK voice keychain creator were also present. The report also highlighted metal games, suggesting their cooperative play and different kind of enjoyment were worth experiencing. Quote, "This page continues the AOU show report, diving into more exhibits. Konami showed strong presence with electromechanical games like Skiars High, a motion-controlled skiing simulator, and Strikeout, a baseball pitching game, which the reviewer found enjoyable despite the tempo." Moving to other non-video game attractions, BB Combat offered a shooting gallery experience using airsoft guns, while Taco Harry presented a quirky game involving hitting an octopus. Psychological test machines and fortune-telling booths were also popular, though the reviewer made a slightly odd comment about the psychological test game and girls' skirts. In the realm of video games, fishing simulators were surprisingly widespread, riding the wave of the bass fishing boom initiated by games like Sega's Sports Fishing. Taito's Densha de Go 2 was a major highlight, although the reviewer felt its graphics were rough and the gameplay simplistic. The report also noted the strong showing of shooting games, confirming a resurgence in the genre, and specifically highlighted Guardian Force as Cave's latest release, reinforcing shooting games as a vital part of the arcade landscape. Other attractions included metal games with tricky mechanics like a moving floor, and prize machines offering a wide variety of goods, including popular character merchandise. The report concludes with a brief overall review, reiterating the appeal of games like Namco's Techno Drive and Dunhill Bikers, mentioned previously, and announces a giveaway for readers.
This page features the Arcade Express Volume 20 report, focusing on the exciting new arcade title, Street Fighter X2. Developed by Eureka and Capcom, this is confirmed as a 3D fighting action game capable of two-player battles, running on PlayStation-based hardware. While the exact release timing is still undecided, the game is a major highlight. The article focuses on the game's characters, confirming the return of series mainstays like Ryu, described as the eternal protagonist, and his rival Ken, whose sweet face is noted as a secret to his popularity. Other characters glimpsed in the character versus screens include Hokuto, Crackerjack, and Skullomania. Screenshots showcase the intense 3D gameplay, featuring signature moves like Ken's Shoryuken, and powerful-looking attacks from Shuryu, potentially a super combo. The article also draws attention to the appearance of the super cancel display during a combo sequence, raising the question of whether this is the return of the special move cancel mechanic from the previous Street Fighter X title. This page continues our look at the exciting new arcade title, Street Fighter X2. Following up on the previous coverage, we're introduced to more of the diverse roster joining the fight. Fan favorite Blanka is back, described as a powerful offensive fighter, and we see his iconic electric attack in action. Zangief, the Red Cyclone, makes his return as the series' quintessential grappler, with his devastating screw pile driver featured. Also confirmed is the Claw Fighter, known as Balrog here, Vega internationally, whose speed and aerial attacks are showcased in screenshots against Ryu. Among the newcomers, we see Doctrine Dark, a mysterious fighter with tricky special moves, and the stylish Crackerjack, known for his powerful consecutive hits. A brand new female character, Sharon, is introduced. While her fighting style is still largely a mystery, her potential popularity is noted, and screenshots show off her attacks and a super combo. Hokuto, also mentioned previously, is present. The developers at Eureka provide an update, stating that Street Fighter X2 is the latest evolution of the series, significantly enhancing graphics and effects compared to the previous game. They emphasize that the concept of Exceed, super combos, has been further developed, and that they are diligently refining the game to ensure it lives up to fan expectations for its arcade debut. This page features updates straight from SNK. Mr. Umemoto from SNK shares his current gaming habits, mentioning he's been playing Real Bout Fatal Fury 2 and is particularly interested in the new characters Rick Stroud and Geese Howard. The highlight is the announcement of the King of Fighters 97 coming soon to SEGA Saturn. To build excitement, SNK is hosting an illustration contest for KOF 97, inviting fans to submit their best artwork featuring the characters. The contest is judged by the Saturn Magazine editors and SMINC's Mr. Umemoto, with prizes to be announced. The deadline for entries is April 30th. We also get news about a new entertainment complex, Neo Geo Bowl, opening its 5th location in Kumamoto. This large facility boasts 30 bowling lanes and an extensive arcade game corner with 80 machines, offering a full range of entertainment options. Rounding out the page is information on the PlayStation release of the King of Fighters Kyo. This adventure game follows Kyo Kusanagi, Yori Yagami, and new characters like Kyo's girlfriend Yuki and Shinji Ibuki as they navigate a story leading up to the King of Fighters tournament, featuring branching paths and multiple endings. It's set to release in spring for 5,800 yen. There is also a fun fan illustration from Hokkaido. SNK showcased its latest arcade titles at the AOU show, Real Bout Fatal Fury 2. The newcomers was a highlight, introducing new characters like Rick Stroud and Li Xiangfei, along with the return of Geese Howard. The game boasts an improved two-line sway system and updated special move commands. Metal Slug 2 also garnered attention, lauded for its accessible controls and charming graphics. The magazine also features reader submissions. The Hyper Freaks Special displays fan art for The Last Blade, with excellent pieces potentially winning a poster prize. More submissions are encouraged, especially featuring Kaid and Yuki, with a deadline of March 23rd. The Hyper Freaks information section calls for reader contributions for Real Bout Fatal Fury 2, including text and illustrations. Additionally, a popularity poll for SNK characters from the first half of '98 is underway. The next issue will highlight Yori Yagami,
the winner of the 97 poll. This page kicks off a new official column from Sega's AMR&D division called Flat Out, designed to bring the latest development news directly to readers. The very first installment focuses on the highly anticipated Sega Rally 2, which made its debut at the recent AOU show. Big news is the completion of the single-player DX version of Sega Rally 2. The report details the game's overwhelmingly positive reception at the AOU show, where it drew massive crowds and long lines. It emphasizes the significant improvements made since the previously shown 70% complete version, with final adjustments resulting in a noticeable leap in both visual quality and handling. Featured screenshots showcase the intense racing action, displaying various cars like the Lancia Stratos, Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution, and Toyota Corolla WRC in action, along with gameplay HUD elements. Photos of the arcade setup at the show reveal both the single and twin cabinet configurations, highlighting the popularity of the DX version with attendees. The page also includes comments from Kenji Sasaki, the director of Sega Rally 2. He expresses satisfaction with the positive feedback from the AOU show, noting the improved accessibility compared to the previous title. Sasaki highlights the game's visuals, pushing the Model 3 board's capabilities, and touches upon the twin cabinet version, still undergoing final tuning. He also speaks about the AM division's renewed structure, promising a wider variety of titles in the future, and asking for continued support from fans. This page features professional rally drivers Yoshio Fujimoto and Yoshihiro Kataoka getting hands-on with the completed version of Sega Rally 2 that was shown at the AOU show. They offer their expert opinions on the game's realism and handling. Fujimoto was impressed by the significant power increase and consistent performance across all cars compared to the previous version, noting the realistic traction in corners and overall depth. Kataoka highlights how Sega Rally 2 bridges the gap between game and real rally driving, suggesting it's a great way for fans to get a taste of the sport and even a good training tool for actual drivers. The page also delves into the different types of cars featured in the game, explaining the characteristics of 4WD, FF, front-engine front-wheel drive, and mist-engine rear-wheel drive vehicles, with insights from the AM staff member who programmed their behavior. There's also a brief primer on the World Rally Championship itself, explaining the time attack format on special stages. Finally, the page includes a call for readers to send in their questions and impressions about Sega Rally 2. This page is part of a series from Sega AM3 titled Cyber Troopers Virtualon, written by 3. It's volume 15 and delves into a successful infiltration of the AOU show, focusing on the topic Protect the Meiji Gamer. The article takes a humorous, pseudoscientific look at these dedicated, perhaps overly intense, gamers. It suggests their numbers are dwindling, and attributes this to factors like recession, the rise of home consoles, and a perception that games equal anime equal techno. The page presents a comical study of the Meiji Gamer, describing their body structure with parts like glasses, bone, and mage, likely referring to their hair, and classifying them into types like short mage and long mage. It then details their lifestyle, observing them gathering at events, sitting on the floor to eat bentos, using their mage-like chopsticks, and consuming large quantities of carbonated drinks. Finally, it touches upon their courtship activities, describing how they might use large cameras and flashes, seemingly employing their mage to control light during these interactions. The page is illustrated with sketches and photos comically depicting these observations, culminating in a large illustration and the question, what is Meiji Gamer? It's a lighthearted, exaggerated look at a specific type of dedicated arcade player. This page continues the humorous examination of the dedicated arcade player, the Meiji Gamer, presented by 3 from Sega AM3. It first explains that 3 is an organization aiming to reform the arcade industry by extracting from less skilled players and outlines 3's policies, which include abolishing player discrimination, demolishing arcade imperialism, and supporting Tomorrow Never Dies, possibly referring to a game or concept related to 007. The main focus shifts to a comical guide on how to breed or raise Meiji Gamers. An illustrated diagram shows the necessary equipment for their habitat. This includes sufficient space with rest areas and transportation tools, a hiding box crucial for top skater players escaping aggressive types, food like bentos and cola, with a warning about too much water, methods for keeping their space clean due to their strong odor,
techniques to prevent escape such as blasting hardcore punk music or placing virtual on arcade machines and exits, and temperature control. 1822 degrees C is ideal to prevent listlessness and encourage activity, especially with virtual on. Following this, there's a bonus track featuring photos from the AOU show with equally humorous captions, depicting scenes like a man with a naked rifle, another in a full metal jacket crazy fatty style, and someone unable to fight for 24 hours. The page concludes with a recruitment call for 3 party members, promising recognition and a t-shirt for those who report relevant activities, and the final declaration, "Heta gamers are beautiful." See you next time. SEGA AM2's Fighting Vipers 2, showcased at the AOU show, is nearing completion. An interview with lead developer Mr. Kataoka reveals the game is about 85% complete, running on Model 3 Step 2, with a planned spring launch. Feedback from the show focused on feel and floatiness compared to the original. Development prioritizes presentation, including flashy K.OS, story integration, and balancing. The goal is to provide accessible fun for fans of Virtua Fighter and the first Fighting Vipers. User impressions highlight significant changes and a good balance. While the core mechanics were praised, some players expressed hesitation. Character logos displayed hint at merchandise plans. The page also includes a humorous anecdote featuring Japan's #1 Akashia Sanman. This page delves into the fighting styles of 2 key characters in SEGA AM2's Fighting Vipers 2, Charlie and Mahler. Following up on the previous page's general overview, this spread provides a closer look at their unique moves and potential. Charlie, the new character highlighted by Mr. Kataoka, is noted for being slightly tricky compared to newcomers like Emi, but his strength lies in his BMX-mounted state. The basic strategy revolves around getting on his bike after a move and launching into BMX-specific attacks, which are detailed with screenshots and inputs like the BMX ride, BMX attack, rear wheel attack, BMX somersault, and a kick-to-low roundhouse combo. He also has various throws. Mahler, after 2 years, has transformed significantly from his Mexican wrestler roots. His performance is noted as having changed considerably, emphasizing the fear of his striking power complemented by throws. The page showcases his revamped abilities, including powerful combos, throws, and wall throws, illustrating how his fighting style has evolved. The reviewer suggests discarding old knowledge of Mahler and focusing on his new, powerful strikes and supportive throws as his core strategy. This page gives players a solid foundation for understanding and utilizing these 2 distinct characters in the upcoming fighting game. This page highlights the release of a prologue or trial version, Klydrom, for the upcoming game Even the Lost Ones. This special release allows players to experience the beginning of the story before the full game is available. The artwork features prominent characters from the Eve series, including the blonde woman with the elaborate necklace, and the red-haired woman holding a pistol alongside a male character, giving a sense of the game's visual style and key players. The page emphasizes the excitement of being able to play the game early, stating it is full of Eve content, covering both the front and back, presumably referring to different aspects or characters of the game. This prologue of Lost One is currently on sale for 1,280 yen, including tax. Details regarding the publisher, SoftBank Corp. Publishing Division, and purchase information are also provided at the bottom. This page presents the 51st installment of a series exploring the relationship between games and art, focusing on the era of multiple perspectives. The article prominently features the Chunsoft adventure game Machi, released in January 1998. It discusses how this game allows players to experience a narrative through the eyes of multiple protagonists, simulating the act of walking through a city and understanding the diverse lives within it. The author, Dr. Fuse, argues that this multi-perspective approach, exemplified by Machi, is essential in the modern world, contrasting it with the historical emphasis on a single viewpoint, citing Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper as an example of the latter. He suggests that the game provides valuable training in seeing the world from different angles, even reframing the concept of a bad end as simply an opportunity to shift perspective and continue the journey through another character. The page includes game details and an illustration related to the game's theme, along with a picture of The Last Supper and information about Dr. Fuse himself.
This page features the weekly fortune-telling segment from the magazine, presented by the mother of Hakozaki, for the week of March 6th to 12th. It offers horoscopes for all 12 zodiac signs, providing different readings and advice for males and females under each sign. There are small illustrations accompanying each sign's section. The page also highlights a lucky person for the week, featuring a character that appears to be from the Can Can Bunny X series, giving brief advice related to their sign, Pisces, born March 8th in this case. The horoscopes offer general guidance on various aspects like luck, health, work, and love, with indicators suggesting different levels of weekly fortune. This page features The Pinnacle of Secret Techniques, a section dedicated to reader-submitted tips and tricks for SEGA Saturn games. Readers whose submissions are featured can win prizes ranging from SEGA Saturn games to book vouchers, depending on the ranking of their tip. Featured this week are tips for several titles. For Langrisser Dramatic Edition, players can access a debug command offering multiple functions, including increasing items at the shop, a stage select option, and even a movie viewer to watch cutscenes at will. There are screenshots illustrating the item menu, stage selection, and the list of available movies. Next, for the Kindaichi case files, The Sad Revenge of Hoshijima, fans can enjoy both a voice test and a music test. These features are accessed by entering specific button combinations during the game's opening movie, allowing players to listen to character voices and background music whenever they like. Screenshots display the interface for the voice test. Finally, there's a fun little secret for Universal Nuts. By simply changing the Sega Saturn's internal clock to either December 25th or January 1st, players can unlock special extra graphics when starting the game, featuring characters dressed in festive Christmas or New Year's attire. This shows some nice seasonal surprises hidden within the game. The page includes images of the bonus Christmas and New Year graphics. Overall, it's a solid collection of useful and fun secrets for these games. This page features the Sega Saturn software review section, focusing on games scheduled for release within the upcoming week. This segment includes reviews from female users, the magazine's regular writers, and guest writers, offering diverse perspectives on the titles. First up is Wonder 3, Arcade Gears, a compilation bringing 3 classic Capcom arcade games to the Saturn. Players can enjoy action, shooting, and puzzle genres all in one package. Reviewers noted that while there's a loading screen at the start, gameplay runs smoothly afterward. The collection is seen as a faithful arcade port, and while the difficulty can be high due to limited continues, playing with a friend is highlighted as a major draw. It scored an average of 6.0. Next is Welcome to Pia Carrot, a romance simulation game. In this title, you aim to deepen relationships with multiple girls over the course of a month. A notable positive is the full voice acting, which includes all characters and even scenes from the adult version. Reviewers felt the detailed character art and backgrounds were well done, and those who played the PC version will find new original characters on the Saturn. However, some found the gameplay could become repetitive and the story somewhat predictable. This title received an average score of 7.0. Overall, this section provides insights from various reviewers, helping potential buyers decide which upcoming Saturn titles might be right for them. The Convenience Store 2, National Chain Expansion, is a well-received management simulation, praised for its depth and customization, though hampered by interface slowness. It earns a 7.66. Eve the Lost One, an adventure game, continues the story of Even Burst Error, with engaging narrative and streamlined controls, despite minor coherence issues and a frustrating character. It scores a 7.33. Time Commando, an action game spanning historical eras, receives criticism for its unpolished execution. Awkward controls and a fixed camera detract from its concept and varied settings, resulting in a 6.33 score. This page lays out the upcoming release schedule for Sega Saturn titles, spanning March, April, and May. It's a crucial guide for any Saturn enthusiast planning their purchases. The layout clearly presents the release date, game title, price, publisher, genre, and compatible peripherals. There's a helpful section explaining how to read the schedule, detailing genre abbreviations like ACT for action, RPG for role-playing game, SLG for simulation, and SHT for shooting. It also lists supported peripherals, such as the racing controller, multi-terminal 6, analog stick, twin stick, and the essential Sega multi-controller, Marucon, and indicates age restrictions or game notes like initial pressings or title changes. The schedule itself is packed with diverse offerings. March brings fighting hits, like the King of Fighters 97,
adventure games like Eve the Lost One and Pia Carrot, and a variety of SEGA Saturn collection budget re-releases. April features major sequels like Sakura Wars 2 and Nobunaga's Ambition titles, plus the highly anticipated Riven, the sequel to Myst. Looking ahead to May, we see titles like Melty Lancer Reinforce and the intriguing Baroque. This list confirms a strong pipeline of games across various genres, ensuring there's something for everyone in the coming months.
This page continues the SEGA Saturn release schedule, moving beyond the immediate months covered previously to list games slated for late May, summer, autumn, within 98, and a significant number of titles still listed as undecided. It provides a comprehensive look at the console's future pipeline. You'll find major anticipated releases highlighted here, including the port of Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, the action-packed Pocket Fighter and Super Adventure Rockman, the Dungeons & Dragons collection, and further installments in the popular Shining Force 2i series. Fighting game fans had much to look forward to, with Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter and Virtua Fighter 3 listed, while adventure and RPG enthusiasts could anticipate titles like Angelique Duet and various undecided RPGs. The list features a diverse range of genres, from puzzle games and simulations to racing titles and tool software, indicating ongoing support across the board. While many dates are still TBD, the sheer volume of games listed, particularly the high-profile sequels and ports, paints a promising picture for Saturn owners looking ahead to the coming seasons.
This page is all about giving back to the readers, with a special present campaign. It details how fans could enter by filling out an attached postcard with survey answers and personal details, with the deadline being March 20th for that issue. The prizes offered are quite varied, covering software and merchandise. Up for grabs were SEGA Saturn-compatible software titles for 20 lucky winners, while 5 readers could snag the official guidebook for the intriguing sound novel The City. 5 more could get their hands on telephone cards featuring artwork from the Atlas RPG Ronde, a title set in a near-future Tokyo. For music lovers, there's a set of soundtrack CGs from the PC games Gyuwan Kukyoku, and nails for 3 winners. Rhythm game enthusiasts had a chance to win the software for Jungle Rhythm, a title about getting into the groove, also for 3 winners. Finally, 3 fans could win a unique watch featuring the logo for the action-adventure Game Time Commando. The page also lists the winners for a previous giveaway from the January 13th and 20th issues, showing names grouped by prefecture and the prize they won. Additionally, it includes the magazine's extensive staff list, covering everyone from editors to writers, photographers, and sales personnel. Important information like the magazine's release date, March 13th, and a contact number for inquiries are also provided. This page introduces Wangan Trial Love, a unique blend of simulation and racing for the SEGA Saturn from PAC-InSoft and Victor Interactive Software. It combines a 5-year youth simulation, starting from middle school, where you manage everything from studying and race practice to part-time jobs for funding, with a core racing game. The simulation aspect involves building relationships with 9 different girls who support you, featuring real-time conversation with real voices. The racing portion utilizes the established Wangan series technology, offering various courses and challenges as you rank up. A highlighted feature is the new Love Navigation system, where the girls interact with you unexpectedly during gameplay. The goal is to become a world champion, get a girlfriend, or perhaps achieve both. Screenshots show both the simulation interface and the 3D racing view. It was scheduled for an April release, priced at 6,800 yen. This page features Gungriffon 2, the next installment in the popular mecha combat simulation series for the SEGA Saturn. Set in a world fractured into 4 major powers, Japan forms an elite unit to navigate the escalating conflicts. The game promises intense, tactical mech warfare, putting players in the cockpit of powerful weapon-hard suits. Key highlights include the addition of a highly requested replay mode, allowing players to review their battles. The game also supports a versus mode, playable using the SEGA Saturn Link cable for head-to-head combat against a friend. With multiple game modes, Gungriffon 2 aims to offer a deep and engaging experience, marking the start of a new era of battle. Screenshots showcase various combat scenarios, including confrontations with enemy mechs, tanks, and helicopters across diverse environments. Published by GameArts and developed by Especially, Gungriffon 2 was scheduled for release on April 23rd, priced at 6,800 yen. As a promotional offer, there was a lottery to win one of 30 real HiMax pilot jackets, based on the CWU-45/P used by the U.S. military,
complete with game-specific patches. The magazine itself is SEGA Saturn Magazine, issue 209, dated March 20, 1998.